sports.
We are the fourth. We are Wisconsin.
And we welcome you from Los Angeles, California. It's a beautiful Saturday night, kind of hot though. And here we are at Dodger Stadium, Vin Scully Avenue. That's how you get to Dodger Stadium these days. We're set for Game 3 of this 4-game series. Ryan Braun, the Granada Hills native, he's from this area, had 3 hits last night, including a double. But the star of the show last night was Justin Turner with a walk-off single in the 10th inning and also had 2 homers. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Dodger Stadium. Great to have you with us tonight alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. We're looking forward to this matchup tonight. And one guy we want to zero in on this evening is Scooter Gennett. And Scooter Gennett is swinging the bat well against lefties. That's true. It's gotten him in the lineup regularly, though. But his overall batting average has been impressive, and he looks like he's back to his form that he was early in the season.
Yeah, before he went on the disabled list and out of spring training, he was outstanding. I think that oblique injury was more of a problem for Gennett than he was letting on. He spent 2 weeks on the DL, but I don't think he really got 100% healthy until a couple of weeks after that. Right now, really swinging the bat well, just like he was early in the year, but his average against left-handers, very good, particularly on this road trip. The Brewers have faced a number of lefties. Scooter Gennett has been in the lineup just about every day, and I think that's why he has had the success against lefties, just the fact that he's been able to face them night in and night out.
6 for his last 12 against left-handed pitching. He'll face a right-hander tonight at Mike Bolsinger. Chase Anderson is on the mound for the Brew Crew. He's chasing a win. Brewers are trying to win the 2nd time in this series with 1 to play tomorrow. Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. and by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Marching our way toward first pitch tonight at Dodger Stadium, and the pitching matchup. Two very good friends, Chase Anderson and Mike Bolsinger, both together with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it actually goes back to their teenage years, growing up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, played on some travel teams together. They were each in the other's wedding party. Chase Anderson was Bolsinger's best man as well. So that's the pitching matchup tonight. And Rock, talk to us about Chase Anderson and what you've seen from him here lately.
Well, he's been very good establishing fastballs. Last time out against the Giants, it was 2-0 before he got an out in the first inning. 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third, and other than that, in his 5 innings, it was 3 batter innings for him. So it was tough for him to get out of the gates in that start against the Giants. But he's having a very good month of June. June's been good to him. 3 starts, a 2-0 record, and a 260 earned run average for Anderson. Very important for a fly ball pitcher to keep the ball in the center of the field here today at Dodger Stadium. So a fly ball pitcher, not a bad place to be working tonight.
Well, we're ready to roll tonight. It's the Brewers and the Dodgers, Game 3 of this 4-game series. It's coming your way next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. On a hot Saturday night, Los Angeles, California, 82 degrees. Temperatures are dropping. It's expected to be in the upper 90s tomorrow for the day game in the finale of the series. This is Game 3 tonight. Brewers let one get away late last night. An extra inning loss. Craig Counsell and the crew trying to turn it around tonight, get back to winning ways. Take a look at the starting lineup for Counsell, brought to you by Potawatomi. Got Villar, Jeanette, and Braun at the top. Lucroy, Carter, and Hill go in the middle with Nieuwenhuis, Flores, and Chase Anderson rounding it out. Nieuwenhuis and Flores into the starting lineup this evening. First time the Brewers have faced a right-handed starter for the Los Angeles Dodgers in this series. And that'll turn VR around to hit lefty. Rocket is Mike Bolsinger on the mound. As we mentioned, a former Arizona Diamondback. And the Brewers saw him about this time last year at Dodger Stadium.
Yep, 0-1 in 3 starts against Milwaukee. And well, he's 6'1", 215 pounds. Not a hard thrower, 28 years old. And second year with the Dodgers.
Little tapper by VR. Bolsinger underhands it to first, and that's how the night begins for the Dodger right-hander.
Well, let's check out the Menards Dodgers defense. 33 errors committed by the Dodgers so far this year. That's third best in the National League. Hernandez getting his first start out in left field. Peterson and Thompson round out the outfield. Turner, the big star in last night's game for LA at third base. Seager and Kendrick up the middle. Andrew Gonzalez at first base, and Yasmani Grandal behind home plate.
First start for Howie Kendrick out at second base tonight. Turner was the star last night with the 2 home runs and then the walk-off single in the 10th inning. Here's Scooter Gennett now facing Bolsinger. Well, he is really swinging the bat well, as we illustrated in our open tonight. And all of that success against left-handed pitching has gotten him in the lineup every day. And Gennett comes into this matchup tonight moving up into the 2 spot again, which is typical for Counsell with a right-handed pitcher on the mound. I'm sure his confidence is soaring once again. He's never a guy you worry about confidence with, but he struggled when he came back from injury with that oblique injury.
I'm not sure he was 100% healthy either. I mean, right now he says he feels great. He's swinging the bat well with a lot of confidence. All he says he has to do is stay back. He doesn't have to really get that bat started too early. He's got good quick hands, and when you feel like that, you know you're 100% as far as physically.
Really good numbers against lefties, and that's not something you'd expect from Gennett as he draws the walk. So Scooter's been walking a lot this year as well. He's aboard for Ryan Braun. Hey, a reminder that in tonight's game we are participating in the Home Run Challenge. It is to benefit prostate cancer research, and so far, after 4 days this week, $1,700,000 has been raised, and you can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. That'd be a good guy to square in on right there. Chris Carter, who has 18 home runs on the season, 2 off the National League lead. Currently 3rd in the National League. Here's Ryan Braun now with 1 away. Got a man at first. Like Gennett, Braun also with 3 hits last night. Has 11 home runs. He's driven in 36. Bumps the batting average up to .315, and that gets him inside the top 10 in the league. He's currently 8th right now. Jonathan Lucroy is 10th in the league.
Now Braun with a couple of hits to right field last night, a double to left, and Brewers had their opportunities for sure last night. They had 2 runs on the board, but had an opportunity for many more. Just couldn't get that big hit. They left 11 on base last night.
Yeah, runners in scoring position numbers weren't great. Zach Davies pitched very well yesterday. He went 7 innings. So even though it was an extra inning game, the bullpen in pretty good shape as Braun pops one up in the infield. Adrian Gonzalez is there for out number 2. So 2 gone for Bolsinger.
Mentioned that Bolsinger, not a hard throw. He cuts his fastball. He's got a curve and a slider to go with it. A 4-seamer as well, but a lot of pitches that have movement in the strike zone. Not too many 4-seam fastballs for Bolsinger. A lot of movement.
Dodgers are anxiously awaiting 2 very talented starters to return. Brandon McCarthy and Hyunjin Ryu, both in minor league rehab scenarios. And Dave Roberts is hoping they'll be back within a few weeks, and then he can get the starting rotation put back together again. Bolsinger misses high to Lucroy. As I mentioned, Jonathan hitting .312, 10th in the league starting play tonight. Has 10 home runs. His 10th homer came against Madison Bumgarner on this road trip in San Francisco. Lucroy has homered against Bolsinger in his career as well. Brewers faced him last season right here at Dodger Stadium. That was July of last season. Bolsinger went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits in a no decision.
And 2 guys on the roster for the Brewers with home runs against Bolsinger. Lucroy one of them, Maldonado the other. Maldonado not in the lineup, but Lucroy playing an awful lot and playing at a high level.
I would imagine you'd see both backup catchers tomorrow for these 2 teams. A lot of discussion about the heat that is here in Los Angeles. We felt it this afternoon. It's nice that these are night games. It cools off. It's perfect weather for baseball at night. But tomorrow's going to be a different story. It's going to be 97, 98 degrees. And you figure these 2 starting catchers, Grandal and Lucroy, have been carrying the heavy load this series. There's a strike. Bender in there. And it's 2-2 on Lucroy.
Yeah, what a difference, right? From San Francisco to here. Those are in the 50s for the game in San Francisco,
yeah.
right? We're in the 80s. High 70s, 80s. That's a big difference.
And the Brewers are going right back to the Bay Area. After tomorrow's game, they've got a 2-game series with the A's in Oakland starting Tuesday. Jeanette takes off. The pitch is in the dirt, and Jeanette's going to steal second base. Picked the perfect pitch to run on. And he's at second with 2 away and a 3-2 count on Lucroy.
Again, a lot of breaking pitches by Bolsinger, and yeah, if you get a jump, you might be able to steal some bases tonight. And curveball to Grandal, tried to be a little bit too quick on.
Now for Jeanette, that's only his 3rd steal of the year. And I think that maybe goes back to your point, Rock, about him maybe feeling healthy 100%. That ball's hit well left field. Gonna be trouble, and it's down. A 1-hopper off the fence. Scooter Jeanette is in on a double by Lucroy. A 2-out, 2-strike RBI for Jonathan, and the Brewers strike first tonight.
It's important to be able to get on the board early and get some momentum going for you. Lucroy able to wait back on a 3-2 breaking pitch, and check this out. Lucroy able to wait back. It was away, but it was up. It looked like a curveball, and Lucroy able to hook it and 1-hop it off the fence out there and left. Well, the Brewers tonight 1 for 1 with runners in scoring position. Let's see if they can do a better job in that department than they did last night.
Here's Chris Carter, and strike 1 to Carter. Chris with 18 homers, 43 runs batted in. He's had 3 hits in this series, including a 2-run home run here, game 1 Thursday. Drove one to right center. Part of a 3-run inning. Brewers won the opener 8-6. They got a 2-run homer from VR in the 9th inning. And then Jeffers came on to close it down. Yesterday had a 2-1 lead in the 8th inning until Turner's homer. Ended up losing in 10. This was Carter's home run from Friday. Powerball home run number 18.
Line drive out of here to right center. Brewers hit 3 home runs first game of this series.
And Carter a cut and a miss. 2-2 the count. That was Aaron Hill and Chris Carter and Jonathan VR all homering on Thursday night. Dodger Stadium not a home run hitter's paradise at night, but it has been a lot warmer here this week, so the ball is traveling a bit better.
Yeah, wait till tomorrow.
Maybe jumping tomorrow, right?
It will be, you bet.
Aaron Hill's had a nice series, including a solo home run on Thursday night. He's been hitting second the first 2 games with left-handed starters on the mound for the Dodgers. Scott Kazmir and Julio Urias in the first 2 games. Carter in the air to left center field, got some carry. Back is Kike Hernandez, and he'll make the catch to end the inning. But the Brewers strike with 2 outs, and it's Jonathan Lucroy who does the honors tonight. 2 strike, 2 out, RBI double for Lucroy. 1-0 Brew Crew as we're underway in LA. Palm trees. You know we're in LA. Thanks for staying up late with us. West Coast baseball on this road trip. There's Dave Roberts, skipper of the Dodgers. First-year manager. Came to the Dodgers from the Padres where he was a coach. And his batting order looks like this today. He's got Jock Peterson leading off. That's news here in Dodger land. Corey Seager bats second. Then Justin Turner in the 3-hole. Middle goes Gonzalez, Thompson, and Howie Kendrick. Kendrick's first start. And then it's Grandal, Kike Hernandez, and Mike Bolsinger rounding out the Potawatomi Dodger batting order against Chase Anderson.
Anderson making his 7th start against the Dodgers in his career. 1-1. A very good 351 earned run average. He snapped a 2-game winning streak and a no decision his last time out against the Giants. Gave up 4 runs in 5 innings of work.
Brewers get Anderson a run in the first on a Lucroy RBI double, and now Chase goes to work. Jock Peterson in the leadoff spot. He's been hitting down in the order. They tried Peterson in the leadoff spot a little bit last year, and it didn't work well because of his high strikeout numbers. But I think Dave Roberts wants to try to give him a spark, maybe just change the view, right? Different spot in the batting order.
Right, move him around a little bit, maybe put him in front of Seager, who's been swinging the bat well.
Good changeup by Anderson early tonight. That's a good sign. Giants really jumped on Chase Anderson his last time out. They ambushed him quickly. They scored 2 runs before there was an out on the board.
And they were all over the fastball. When they got a fastball early in the count, they were jumping on it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Tried another change. Peterson hitting leadoff for the first time this season for LA. Their typical leadoff man is Chase Utley. He's out of the lineup tonight after starting the first 2 games. Peterson is a great talent. He's part of this excellent young group of Dodgers that they're trying to build their franchise around. They've got some veteran guys, though, that aren't hitting much. Justin Turner being one of those guys, but he's really started to pick it up here lately.
How about his night last night? All over some breaking pitches.
Best night of the year last night, no question.
Yeah, the young guys have been doing a pretty good job. It's the veteran guys that really haven't held up their end of it. It's Adrian Gonzalez hasn't shown a lot of power. Now Howie Kendrick, Utley.
Corey Seager, part of the young group, the Rat Pack. 2-2 the count. Peterson fouls it away. Chase doesn't have that overpowering fastball. He pitches a lot like Zach Davies, and I'm sure watching Davies attack these Dodger hitters through 7 innings last night helps him with his preparations for tonight.
And but Zach Davies did a good job with his fastball against these guys. A lot of fastballs in, got into some hands, jammed some batters. Boy, that kid right there has been tremendous.
He's emerging, right? He's emerging as a very reliable starting pitcher. Davies went 7 innings last night. Just 1 run. Pitched a beautiful game, had 6 strikeouts. And he's got a stretch of 9 consecutive starts where he has been terrific. He's actually emerging as the Brewers' ace in this window, believe it or not. There's a swing and a miss. Anderson struck him out with a down and in fastball at 93.
Well, let's check out the defense behind Chase Anderson here tonight. Brought to you by Menards. You got Braun, Neuenhuis, and Flores in the outfield. Kean Broxton in the outfield last night. Hill, VR, Jeanette Carter in the infield, and once again Lukeberg behind home plate.
Kirk Neuenhuis making his first start of the series in center. The 2 left-handed starters the first 2 days have had him on the bench. A good center fielder. We were talking to Craig Counsell today about Neuenhuis. As you see Corey Seager, the batter for the Dodgers. He said Kirk Neuenhuis is doing exactly what we thought he would do. He's performing like his baseball card right now. He's going to strike out, but he's going to take a lot of pitches. He's getting on. He plays a really good center field. He's a smart base runner.
He's fast. I mean, he's kind of surprisingly fast. You don't think a guy that size can run the way he can, but he can. He can steal some bases for you. Yeah, just do what's expected, right? Nothing more.
As a matter of fact, Craig Counsell said he's pretty pleased with all of his outfielders right now. The inexperienced guys, the guys like Keon Broxton and Alex Presley and Ramon Flores, it's going to take some major league at-bats to figure out what kind of players they are. There's a ground ball to the left side. Right there is Hill. Shift on. Third baseman is way over there by the shortstop.
Yeah, but for the most part, I think Craig Counsell is pleased with the way everybody's performed and the way the team in general has performed. Even in their losses, they're hanging in there. They're close in games, and sometimes, you know, they'll make a mistake. A team will jump on them, but that's the way it goes. And when you have a lot of young players out there, those things happen. But you know, for the most part, Counsell and his coaching staff pleased with the effort that the team has put forth.
Oh, here is the star from last night, Justin Turner. And Turner got his moment in the sun last night in the 10th inning. And it was interesting that Craig Counsell had walked intentionally 2 batters to get to Turner with the bases loaded. He felt like that was really the only way out. The odds are against the Brewers in that situation anyway. But he felt that loading the bases created a force at every base, and Turner does strike out a lot, and so he was playing the percentages
and figuring that Jeremy Jefferson was going to pound him with that sinker, maybe get the ground ball to get out of the inning, but Jeremy on a 0-2 pitch hung a curveball.
And Turner did not miss it. He had a big night last night, and he destroyed off-speed pitches. Had 2 home runs, had a single as the game winner. It would have easily been a double, but not necessary with bases loaded.
Hey, hit a cutter out of the ballpark on Zach Davies and a curveball against Thornburg in the 8th. And that curveball from Jeffers to end the game.
And he loses him, ball 4. So a 2-out base runner. And you can understand why after what we saw here last night. You got to be very careful with breaking stuff to Justin Turner. And note these 3 pitches.
Cutter right there. That was his first at bat. Curveball in the 8th. Hit that one out of the ballpark. That was another 2-strike hit. And a curveball from Jeffers.
The second home run tied the game. The last base hit won the game. 2 outs for Adrian Gonzalez now. 2-out walk. Brewers scored their run with 2 outs in the first. An RBI double by Luke Roy. Hit hard right field, and that is down fair, and it's going to bounce out, which is fortunate. That'll be a ground rule double, which means Turner has to go back to second base.
Yeah, that would have been a run easily had that ball stayed in play. So an early break for Chase Anderson. That ball one hops over the fence.
A double for Adrian Gonzalez. Hasn't been hitting for much power for the Dodgers this year, but that one whistled down the right field line, and fortunate for the Brewers, it bounces up and out.
Pitch down and in, just dropped the head of the bat on it.
Second and third, 2 away. And here comes Trace Thompson, who had a big game in the opener, including a 3-run home run back on Thursday night. Thompson, Trace, brother of Clay, who will be involved in a Game 7 tomorrow, playing for the Warriors against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers in Oakland tomorrow. One ball, one strike on Trace Thompson, 25-year-old outfielder. Tonight getting to start in right field. He's been in left. Came to the Dodgers in an off-season trade, or a season trade last year with the White Sox. Trade that involved Todd Frazier. 3-way deal with Cincinnati, Chicago, and Los Angeles.
Got big power, hit a 3-run homer in the first game of the series. Hitless last night.
Anderson trying to survive the first. Got the first 2 men out, now 2 on. Anderson gets Thompson to foul it back. 2-2 now. Chase is from Wichita Falls, Texas. And his mound opponent, Mike Bolsinger, is from McKinney, Texas. Those are 2 towns in the outside Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. There's a line drive, a base hit. 1 run is in. Turner. Here comes Gonzalez. The throw all the way in. The catch, the tag, and he is out at the plate. What a throw by Neuenhuis. From deep center field, Neuenhuis cuts down the slow-moving Gonzalez to end the inning. Boy, this is a big one early. A run scores, but a great throw from Neuenhuis, and we're tied.
Right-handed pitcher from August 7, 1992, Isabela, Puerto Rico.
First inning. We'll see how this one maps out, but what a throw by Kurt Neuenhuis, cutting down a potential second run from scoring. And Chase Anderson gets out of that inning. Each pitcher surrendering runs with 2 outs. 2-out rallies for both clubs.
And what made that throw so good was the hop that he gave Lucroy. He didn't try and airmail it and give him a tricky hop. It was a nice one hopper and a relatively easy play for Lucroy. You can see where it ends up. About halfway between the mound and home plate, Lucroy able to apply the tag, and that's not even close. And some guys just try and airmail it and show off the arm, but that doesn't really do a whole lot of good when you give your catcher a bad hop.
Aaron Hill starts this second inning for the Brew Crew. Neuenhuis to follow, then Flores. All tied at 1, and a bullet in the left center by Aaron Hill. Over to cut it off Hernandez, and that's a good job. He's going to keep Hill to a single. Some well hit balls early in this one.
And getting a lot of the play, that was middle in. You could see where Grandal was setting up. He was setting up away, and Bolsinger missed his spot, and Aaron Hill took advantage of it. Well, he's a good high ball hitter, isn't he? I mean, we're not talking about 98 miles an hour, but you're anywhere between 92, 94. He's going to get on top of that pitch.
That's his 4th hit of the series. Neuenhuis shows bunt, drops him down foul.
Hit a high fastball out of the ballpark here on Thursday.
That was Hill's 7th homer of the year. On the road trip, he's now 6 for 17. And he's 4 for 9 in this series against the Dodgers after that single to left center to start the inning. Neuenhuis hits a bullet right to Turner. He caught it, throw to first in time, and a double play. Oh, a tough break for Kurt Neuenhuis. Hit it like a shot. Certainly would have been extra bases and potentially a run-scoring base hit.
And amazing the way these defenses are set up. I mean, Turner doesn't even have to move. He's over there in the hole, even with the bag, and lo and behold, Neuenhuis hits it right to him.
Yeah, there's bat flips you use after home runs, and then there's bat flips after you line into a double play. Neuenhuis caught a bad break there. 2 outs now. Here is Ramon Flores. Flores trying to go the other way. No balls, 2 strikes on Ramon. Ramon getting the start in right field tonight. Left-handed batter has been coming off the bench the last 2 nights, and there's a base hit. So Flores drops one into right field, a base knock with 2 outs.
3 hard hit balls in this inning, but man at first with 2 outs. There's that curveball again. Bolsinger another breaking pitch, and Flores able to wait back. Kind of a top spin line drive, able to dump one into right.
So Flores reaches, and that'll get the pitcher Chase Anderson at the plate. Now, what an experience this has to be for Anderson and Bolsinger. These 2 guys have known each other since they were 15 years of age, playing on summer league teams, AAU teams in the Dallas area. Rivals in high school, rivals at the collegiate level. Anderson and Bolsinger have played with and against each other for a long time. Chase went to Oklahoma. Bolsinger went to Arkansas. And then they were both drafted by the Diamondbacks, and that's where they became even better friends. Coming up through the Diamondbacks minor league system, they were roommates, ended up being best buddies, and that is Bolsinger and Anderson. Bolsinger is the best man at Chase Anderson's wedding. Matter of fact, that's when he found out he was traded, when he was in the wedding party of Bolsinger, did Chase Anderson. So these two are linked up. And now Dave Roberts is on his way to the mound. This is not good. He spotted something here with Bolsinger. He's bringing the athletic trainer with him.
Now, was that a social media situation with the trade, or did somebody give him a call?
I hope somebody let him know. I feel like the Brewers didn't let that one slip. Because, you know, we certainly would have tweeted that had we known.
Oh, absolutely. Your mystery Twitter handle?
AJ squared away. Well, whatever it was, he's convinced his manager and the athletic trainer that he's fine. I think they saw a little wince here.
And that move right there, maybe showing a little bit of discomfort, holding on to the ribs.
All right, so 2-2 the count on Anderson. And he hits one sharply up the middle and a base hit. Rounding third, or second on his way to third, is Flores. So Anderson with a hit against his old friend.
Well, everything hit hard in this inning. And Bolsinger very fortunate that line drive by Neuenhuis was caught, turned into a double play, but another breaking pitch. This one up in the zone, and you're really doing a pitcher a favor when you're throwing that and leaving it upstairs, and Anderson with a base hit.
Second hit of the year for Anderson. He had been 1 for 20. But you don't just clear the pitcher spot now. You bring up the leadoff man, Jonathan Villar, in an RBI chance with runners at first and third and 2 outs. One and one. Big play to end the bottom of the first. Neuenhuis throwing out Adrian Gonzalez, trying to score. And now the Brewers come back. 3 hits in the inning. And strike 2. He caught the edge.
Yeah, throwing a couple fastballs now. It was all breaking pitches to Chase Anderson. Why, I'm not sure, but last couple of pitches fastballs.
Villar had a little tapper back to the mound his first time up. Jonathan's been maintaining that batting average around 300 most of the year. Came in at an even 300 starting play tonight. He's at 298 now. Flores had a 2-out single to right. Anderson with a 2-out single to center.
Yeah, the table setter now playing run producer. Need a base hit here. That's how hot he's been last 5 games.
And remember, he was in a big drought at the plate on the last homestand. And then it was a bunt single that got him started. And that's why Jonathan Villar, most feel, has a chance to maintain this high batting average because of his speed. And when he's mired in a long slump, I believe he was 1 for 12 at the time. He's able to drop a bunt down and beat it out for a single.
Yeah, get in that hit con, and all of a sudden you get that confidence going.
2-2 the count. Villar takes one down and in. Now Anderson can get a head start with this pitch. The runner at first. He goes. Villar up the middle, and that's going to get through. A base hit. In the score is Flores. Chase Anderson on his way to third. And it's a 2-out RBI single for Villar.
Yeah, couldn't have rolled it out there by hand any better than that. Kind of top spin. Picked up speed on that second hop, and just out of the reach of Howie Kendrick. Kendrick not blessed with great range. You wonder if Utley gets to that baseball. But into center field and running on the pitch, Chase Anderson able to get the third.
2 seeing eye ground balls that see their way to the outfield in back-to-back innings where the Brewers driving a run with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Now Scooter Gennett, who walked and scored in the first.
Yeah, 5 hits for the Brewers in the last 7 at bats. So taking it to Bolsinger right now.
Curveball, little flare. That's going to fall into left center field. Anderson will score. Scooter Gennett stays hot. Another 2-out hit. The Brewers now lead it 3-1 as Gennett drives in his 17th of the season.
And that's what Scooter's been doing. He's been staying on the baseball, not trying to pull off and hit everything to right field. And when you do that, you're going to get hits like this off the handle and dumps it out there into left field. Boy, how about that? 4 consecutive 2-out hits for Milwaukee, and they take a 3-1 lead.
And the 5 hits they have, or 5 of the 6 hits they have on the board tonight, have all come with 2 outs. And now Ryan Braun will step in. Well, that's how fast an inning can change when a pitcher reaches. Because you're sitting there, 2 outs, the pitcher at the plate, thinking, well, at least they cleared the pitcher spot. You'll have the top of the order next inning. But that all changed when Anderson bounced one through the middle. Braun popped up in the first. Runners take off, and Braun fouls it away.
You think about the hits in this inning. The hardest hit ball in the inning was the Neuenhuis line drive. That turned into 2 outs. So the Brewers are hitting them where they ain't, like they used to say. That's what they call smart hitting.
It's hard to know where they ain't anymore, though.
Yeah.
With the way the game's going and the shifts.
Yeah, you got to keep your eyes moving.
I think both of those ground balls up the middle, the one by Anderson and VR, Howie Kendrick's covering the hole a great deal. And those two are able to find their way through. 1 ball, 1 strike to Braun. And VR starts, then stops, and a swing and a miss.
You can't be dancing around out there with Braun at the plate. And VR jockeying back and forth, took a false step like he was going to take off. That distracts a hitter. Some guys don't like that too much. You're not going anywhere. Just let Brawny hit, drive you in. This is where VR has really evolved and has been much better at managing these situations, just staying put. Unless he knows he can just walk into third base.
Ball and 2 strikes now. And Bolsinger with the inside move just to see. Second base is the last base you can fake to anymore without stepping off. Can't fake to third, can't fake to first, of course. Two on, 2 out, 2 runs are in. Ryan Braun at the plate. And he swings and rolls one to short. Seager will go the easy way. And the side is retired, but the Brewers come up with a little 2-out magic once again. 3-1 Milwaukee as we go to the bottom of the second. All right, thanks, Sophia. Nothing says summertime in Milwaukee like Sophia Minner.
Right.
She's having a blast. They all are. Craig and Augie and our terrific crew there at the Dells. Glad to present that for you. The hour-long pregame shows.
Sophia's been busy.
Yeah.
She was in San Francisco.
Right. All the way back.
All the way back. Coming back for the Oakland series.
You know it.
Gamer.
She is. It's all about the hard work. All about the work, 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 work. I think that's the way Rihanna said it. There's a line drive, deep right field, way back it goes, and it's gone. Howie Kendrick goes opposite field. And just like that, the Dodgers are back on the board. It's 3-2 Milwaukee.
Yeah, Dodgers have been getting some pretty good swings off of Chase Anderson. Last 3 batters have reached. And this time Kendrick goes oppo. Fastball down the middle, and Kendrick able to square it up and knock it out of here. A line drive to right. That ball's carrying today, where you figure it would as the temperatures heat up. And that one just does sneak over the wall.
So Howie Kendrick with his 3rd home run of the season. This feels like a very hitterish kind of night. A lot of action already. We've had 9 hits combined. We're only in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Yasmani Grandal, the switch hitting Dodger catcher. And Anderson picks up his first K. Making a 2nd K, beg your pardon. First out of the 2nd inning.
Hey, it's Greg Vaughn bobblehead day next Sunday, June 23rd, as the Brew Crew conclude their series with the Nationals. All fans in attendance will get a bobblehead of the former Brewers slugger wearing his signature 90s jersey. That's courtesy of Pepsi.
Speaking of former Brewers, I spotted Fernando Vina earlier today. He was here in the booth. Did you see him? No, he was up to see Rock. That's how I spotted him. There's a fly ball to center. Kike Hernandez on the first pitch. Flies out to center field, 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, Nando down in L.A. I'm not sure he didn't have a whole lot of time to talk. He came right before we came on the air. But he's actually lives in Sacramento. A lifer fantasy camp coach. He actually asked me if he was still in again.
Well, that's when you know you've got a good fantasy camp, Rock, when the coaches are starting to request opportunities. And Greg Vaughn's a fantasy camp coach. Fernando Vina.
Fernando's awesome.
It was good to see Fernando. He looks great. He looks like he could still play.
Still works out, I think.
I know. I'm pretty sure he does.
Goodness. He asked if they had a uniform down there his size. I believe he could still do it.
January 22nd to the 29th, by the way, is fantasy camp. Just go to brewers.com/fantasy camp to find out more.
And get a chance to get to know Fernando Vina up close and personal.
You can be coached by Fernando Vina. Two balls and a strike. Bolsinger at the plate. Anderson giving up a home run to Kendrick to start the inning. Bolsinger does not have a hit this season. Has 3 in his entire career. And Anderson makes quick work of him. A strikeout to end it. 3 Ks for Chase Anderson. 2 runs are in. Brewers lead 3-2. into the top of the 3rd inning. Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. And let's check out our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. Some news today around Major League Baseball. Zach Greinke was on the mound in Philadelphia, and he's starting to dial it in. 7 straight wins. The former Dodger is back to his elite form. Rangers scoring 2 runs in the 8th and in the 9th. They defeat the Cardinals 4-3. They were being shut out in that game. Texas is hot. They won 5 in a row in their 9th straight series win. And how about Tim Lincecum? The freak is back, pitching for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and he pitched today in Oakland. He's back in the Bay Area, and he did not disappoint, Rock. What a shot in the arm that is for the Angels.
Yeah, no easing him in, right? 98 pitches. He picked up a victory for the Anaheim Angels. It's good to have a guy like Lincecum back in the major leagues. Always fun to watch him pitch.
Jonathan Lucroy will lead off for the Brewers here in the 3rd. Had a 2-out RBI double in the 1st inning. Matter of fact, all 3 of the runs for the Brewers have come with 2-out hits. And the Brewers already have 6 hits on the board against Bolsinger. Lucroy is from Florida, but played his college ball at Louisiana Lafayette, and that's where he currently resides. Feels like he's more from Louisiana than Florida. A couple of years ago, set a major league record for doubles in a season. He first passed Yadier Molina for the National League record, and then he passed Pudge Rodriguez. So he's got his name in the record books. Doubles by a catcher in a major league season.
Yeah, it took him a while this year to get going with the extra base hits, but they're coming in bunches now. Home runs, doubles, you got a couple of triples.
Lucroy out to Seager, the shortstop, and there is out number 1 for Bolsinger. Well, coverage of the 116th U.S. Open Championship from historic Oakmont continues tomorrow. They'll finish the 3rd round of play. It starts at 6 a.m. on FS1, and then they go to twosomes. The final round will begin, and all off the number 1 tee. They finally got caught up there. Starts at 10 a.m. Central on Fox. You can watch it all live on Fox Sports Go. Shane Lowry is your leader right now. He's still got a few holes to play. It's going to be a good Father's Day U.S. Open finish, I think. There are a lot of players in contention, and it is a golf course that can create some carnage.
Man, I was watching today. That's crazy. They make the pros look like the rest of us sometimes, don't they?
That's the funnest part.
Yeah.
Tricky greens is going to get fast. Expecting beautiful weather in the Pittsburgh area tomorrow. That's where Oakmont Country Club is. It's actually in Oakmont, Pennsylvania. And then after tomorrow's play, Rock, we start the big build-up for the 2017 U.S. Open, which will be shown on Fox. It'll be at Erin Hills in Erin, Wisconsin. A little bit north and west of Milwaukee, about a 45-minute drive from downtown. Very much looking forward to that. It's one of the great golf courses in the country. I can't wait for the country to see Erin Hills.
Yeah. Well, to have Aaron Hill, the Brewer, talking about Aaron Hills.
I told him that today. I said, man, I'm no marketing genius, but I think there's a pretty good match here with the golf course.
Yeah.
Spells it differently. The golf course is E-R-I-N. The Brewers' third baseman is A-A-R-O-N, also known as A-A-Ron.
Do we get a piece of that marketing contract?
Well, I think we should. I'm kind of waiting on somebody to give me a call.
Well, you got to call your people. I mean, you know.
People. Carter draws the walk.
The Aaron Hills with the E-R-I-N.
Well, Aaron says he's all for it if anybody's interested. sure he is. He's a big golfer. He's an off-day golfer during the season. 9 holes only. Leisure golf. Nothing intense. Used to be an old adage, probably even in your time as a player, where a coach, a manager, they wouldn't let you play golf. It'll ruin your golf swing. Your golf swing will ruin your baseball swing.
That's what they kept saying, but everybody knew it was just because they thought you get tired when you played golf on a day of a game, which is true. It was okay for starting pitchers to play some golf. I mean, on the day they're not pitching.
I love John Smoltz' conversation with John Sherholtz about golf, and Sherholtz said, "John, I just feel like you're going to get tired playing golf." And Smoltz said, "No, that's the way you play golf. You get tired. I'm not walking 10 miles,
hacking through the trees,
back and forth,
clogging through the sand traps."
He said, "It's relaxing for me. I'm kind of right in the middle. It's not so relaxing, but when you have the skill of a John Smoltz, the game is easy." There's a big difference between 100 strokes and 67.
Right. I mean, you're not really getting your money's worth, are you? When you only
now that's a good way to look at it.
Hitting 67 shots.
Dollars per stroke.
I'm telling you, I get my money's worth out there.
Yes, you do.
Ripping up the fairways when I'm in it.
All the agronomy that has to be counseled. Not a friend of the super is Rock. He's kind of like that gopher in Caddyshack.
You think?
Digging up trenches everywhere.
Spraining my ankle in divots. Oh well.
It's a great game, Rock.
It's not for everybody.
But it's not for everyone. Remember that.
2 lines. You told me that one, and the other one was you're not good enough to get mad.
That's true. Why so angry?
Yeah.
You lower your expectations.
You shouldn't be surprised.
Aaron Hill into left field, and that's going to be another hit for him. This one a little bit off the end of the bat. A wild throw comes in from left. But Hill has 2 hits.
Well, an awful lot of breaking pitches from Bolsinger. I mean, one after another. Sticks in a fastball once in a while, but most of the time when he throws his fastball, it's off the plate. Aaron Hill able to get one up in the zone and dump it into left because it was up. Get that same curveball down in the strike zone, it might be a double play ball.
2 on, 1 out. Here's Kirk Neuenhuis, who was robbed of an extra base hit his last time up. He hit a bullet to third. Turner made the catch, and then he threw to first for a double play. And the Brewers still had 5 hits and scored 2 runs in that second inning. What might have been had Neuenhuis's shot landed on the grass. Neuenhuis still looking for his first hit of the road trip. He's 0 for 8.
Bolsinger he has the body language that something's wrong with him. Just doesn't feel 100%.
So the question is, if it's Clayton Kershaw out there with that kind of body language, is he still in the game?
Right.
No activity in the bullpen. Curveball hit hard, base hit, that's through. And they're going to hold Carter around third. That's a strong throwing arm in right with Trace Thompson. And the Brewers have them loaded up with 1 man out.
Yep, already 4th hit for the Brewers with a man in scoring position. And just a lot of off-speed pitches that have been up in the strike zone. That was a slider to Neuenhuis that time, and he's able to hit it hard into right field. Hit too hard to allow Chris Carter to score.
Great look from behind the outfielder. Trying to get that throw on line. Strong enough arm to have Ed Cedar, the third base coach, hold the runner. Sensing potentially a big inning, but this is the hitter that the Brewers need to strike. The 8th place hitter, Ramon Flores. Got the pitcher due up next. And Flores takes a strike, a breaking ball in there. Flores with a single his last time up. Single to right. Brewers have scored in each of the first 2 innings, and they're threatening here in the 3rd. In the air to center, down, base hit. Carter will score. Aaron Hill's right behind him. He's in, and it's a 2 RBI single for Flores. The Brewers lead it 5-2 now. 4 consecutive base runners, 3 straight hits.
And already the 5th hit for the Brewers with a man in scoring position, and Bolsinger continues to lead breaking pitches up in the strike zone. Check that one out, right down the middle, and Ramon Flores dumps it into center and drives in a couple of runs. So the Brewers doing tonight what they were not able to do last night, and that was come up with a big hit. The bottom of the order are doing a pretty good job here tonight.
Rick Honeycutt trying to find some answers here as you see Chris Hatcher in the Dodger bullpen loosening quickly. A quick trip to the mound for Honeycutt, maybe trying to buy his reliever some time. What an offensive performance already by the Brewers. Last inning they had 4 consecutive hits. This inning 4 consecutive base runners, a walk and 3 straight hits. Nice. Over at 3rd now. Flores at 1st. Here is Chase Anderson. And you might see a bunt here from Anderson. Shows bunt. Pops it foul.
Adrian Gonzalez telling Bolsinger to cover the 3rd baseline because Turner didn't even budge. He just kept tight to the bag and to keep Neuenhuis close to 3rd base. And Gonzalez was charging hard. First baseman comes in to cover the 1st baseline, and when that happens, the pitcher's got to go to the 3rd baseline.
Oh, and 2 now on Anderson. Right now the Brewers are 9 for 15 at the plate with 2 walks. Anderson had a base hit his last time up. Single to center. Kept the inning alive, and that sparked the rally for the Brewers. VR and Jeanette with RBIs. Shows bunt, and he bunts right through it. Anderson is out, but Flores ends up at 2nd base on a stolen base. So basically Anderson accomplishes what he wanted. He doesn't get a sac bunt, but there are runners at 2nd and 3rd now, and Dave Roberts is on his way out. Pitching change, early one tonight. Tough go of it for Mike Bolsinger, and he will exit. Into the bullpen go the Dodgers in the 3rd inning with 2 outs. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Downtown Los Angeles, and not too far from there, we are here at Dodger Stadium. The Brewers chase the starter, Mike Bolsinger. And so after an extra inning game last night, Dave Roberts is back into his bullpen early tonight.
Yeah, he got Chris Hatcher in the game. He's made just one appearance since June 6th. That was Thursday against the Brewers. 2 scoreless innings.
Second and third, 2 men out. And top of the order, Jonathan Villar at the plate. Well, Rock, the Dodgers starters in this series have had some short windows, and this is the shortest start of them all.
Yeah, putting the test to that Dodgers bullpen. Urias was very good, but only went 5 innings. They're keeping an eye on his pitch counts and innings. Kazmir lasted only 4.
I mean, it's one thing to say we have an 8-man bullpen, and we have a lot of help down there, but when you go game after game after game, going deep into your bullpen like Dave Roberts has been forced to do in this series.
That was the Brewers in April. But the starting rotation's been able to turn it around.
VR. Chance to drive in 2 more. The Brewers have 2 runs in. They lead 5-2 in the third. And VR had a good cut at it.
I didn't see many fastballs against Bolsinger, but you're going to see a bunch of them against Hatcher. He throws hard. 96 to 98 with a fastball with a slider to go with it. So much different approach for these 2 pitchers.
Hatcher had the night off last night. But Roberts used 6 different relievers last night. A swing and a miss. Down goes VR, and the inning is over. The Brewers strand 2, but they score 2, and they've scored in every inning thus far. It's 5-2 Milwaukee as we go to the bottom of the third. As we head to the bottom of the third inning, Hollywood sign, the famous Hollywood sign, not too far from here. Hey, the Milwaukee Brewers Community Involvement Initiative, known as the Community Achievers Award, will recognize residents throughout the state of Wisconsin each month during the season for displaying extraordinary efforts in their community. All adults and school-aged children throughout the state of Wisconsin are eligible to participate, and to nominate someone for the Community Achievers Award, visit Brewers.com. Click on the Community Foundation tab. Make your nominations now. Back to the top of the Dodgers batting order. Jock Peterson will start it. Brewers have chased starter Mike Bolsinger 2 2/3 innings. Chris Hatcher coming in to clean up the third inning, and now Anderson pitching with a 3-run lead, trying to get this game moving along.
Got to get a 0 up on that board. The Brewers offense has helped out Anderson quite a bit with a 5 spot already. There's been a run scored in every half inning so far tonight.
Not the kind of game you want to be involved in.
Not if you're a pitcher.
Bolsinger goes 2 2/3 innings, gives up 9 hits, 5 runs, all earned. And he faced just 18 batters in the game. So the Brewers end up going 9 for 16 with 2 walks against Bolsinger. That is a tough day at the ballpark.
This didn't look like it was 100% to me. He wasn't finishing his pitches, leaving a lot of his breaking pitches up in the zone, and the Brewers were taking advantage of it.
Ground ball. VR's got a long throw, and Peterson beats it out. Tough with the shift on to throw him out. Jock Peterson is on with an infield hit to start the 3rd inning.
Yeah, he'll take that, the way things have gone for him in this series. Second hit for Peterson in the series, and there's an infield single. Not even close.
Peterson now 2 for 10 in this series. Corey Seager now. Dodgers have 3 left-handers in the top 4 spots in their batting order. Chase Anderson can be very effective against left-handed batters when his changeup is on, which is his best pitch. But he can't do anything with the changeup unless he's using the fastball well. And when he pitches well, it's typically the fastball that has been the difference maker for him. His location of it, not necessarily the velocity. Now he throws a little harder than Zach Davies. He sits at 92, 93.
Yeah, but with less movement. Doesn't have as much movement on his fastball as Zach Davies does. Pretty straight fastball, but he's most effective when he's working that fastball in on both lefties and righties.
There's a swing and a miss. Good pitch. Took something off on the changeup.
3 in a row. That guy's been unhittable for a nice long stretch.
Gave up a 1st inning home run to Turner yesterday, and then he buckled down and ended up going 7 with just 1 run allowed. He'd left in the lead, but the Brewers let it get away in the 8th.
That's 4 straight changeups right there to Seager.
Oh, now what do? Do you keep throwing it?
I guess throw it till he hits it, right?
Wondering if Seager is thinking that he'll go to a fastball now. 2-2 the count. Got a runner at first. Five in a row. So if you throw nothing but changeups, then your changeup's not really changing anything up at all.
That's right. It's not a changeup anymore.
It's just a pitch. Yeah, there's a fastball. Now there was a changeup.
Right, that's the changeup, the 91, not the 81. Changeup is basically changing speeds, right? So the fastball was the changeup.
That was the change. That was the one that changed the pace. He's hit 94. His curveball has been at 76. His changeup hovers in the low 80s. Full count. Nobody out. Got a runner at first in the Dodger 3rd inning. And he lost him. Not a good start to the inning. An infield hit and a walk, and now 2 on with the heart of the order coming up.
Hey, that brings us to tonight's Hammer of the Game winner, Rippers in Belmont. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
So here is Turner. This is the last guy you want at the plate in a spot like this. Confidence has to be soaring right now. Turner, in his last 5 games, has 9 hits, 3 homers, 2 of them coming last night. All but 1 of his home runs this year have come in the left center field. And he was swinging for it there. He got a fastball.
Got that little slight uppercut. You can get him with some fastballs up in the zone. And one of the reasons why he's been so good in this series on the breaking pitch. You can get away with that little uppercut when it's an off-speed pitch, not so much a fastball. Especially a fastball that's up in the zone.
Well, Turner's quite a story. Actually came up with the Reds. He was traded by the Reds to the Orioles. That was in the Ramon Hernandez deal. That was the offseason of '08. And then it was the Mets who picked him up from the Orioles off waivers. The Orioles took him off their major league roster in 2010. Then he became a free agent. Signed with the Dodgers. Kind of a journeyman utility type player. Never really put up big numbers at all. And he's turned himself into a 3-hole hitter on a contending team, the team with the highest payroll in the game. He's coming off a career year last year. He had 16 home runs and 60 runs batted in.
Hit almost 300.
2 on, nobody out. And the 1-1 swung on, fouled back. Back to the fastball, and Turner fouls it away.
Even at 91, and you put it in on his hands, he's really not able to get the bat head out on it. Just don't make a mistake with a breaking pitch or even a changeup down the middle.
Turner drove in all 3 runs last night for Los Angeles in their 3-2 win. Good note there. Highest percentage in baseball of runs via the home run. 2 of the 3 came on home runs last night.
Yeah, Dodgers 8th in the league in home runs.
I don't think the Dodgers can survive offensively with that statistic, because this is not a home run hitter's ballpark.
No.
It's not a home run hitter's division. And what that tells you is they're not driving in runs up and down their lineup in non-home run situations, meaning they're not getting the clutch hit with runners in scoring position or stringing together hits. Turner sends one deep to left center. And there it goes. A home run to tie the game. And the Brewers are going to have to figure out another way to pitch Justin Turner.
They're going to have to forget about the off-speed stuff. I mean, how many times do you throw that off-speed stuff and he knocks it out of the ballpark? That's 4 hits now on off-speed pitches. 3 of them are home runs, and the other one, a game winner last night in the 11th inning. Has not been able to catch up to the fastball, but for some reason the Brewers continue to throw him off speed. Don't get it. That's a changeup. Goes down and gets it. When you have an uppercut swing, you can get to off speed. Not so much with a fastball.
Just like that, we're all tied up. Runs in every inning thus far. The Dodgers with 3 on the board. Nobody out here in the 3rd.
Making that guy look like Babe Ruth.
Turner now with 9 homers. He's hit 4 in his last 6 games. And now it's Adrian Gonzalez. Anderson will have to start all over in this 3rd inning. Nobody out. feel like we're at Coors Field right now.
Oh, boy.
Leads are evaporating quickly. Inning started with an infield hit and then a walk. 3-run home run by Turner. Gonzalez powers one through the shift. And now the Dodgers with 6 hits. 4 straight base runners to start the inning, and starting to look like a short night for Chase Anderson tonight.
Yep, 3 pitches to Adrian Gonzalez. Curveball, 2 changeups. The third pitch, second changeup, ends up as a base hit in the right field.
So when the bullpen phone rings, I wonder if it's one of those nights where everybody runs from it. Brewers do have activity in their bullpen. All tied at 5. Trace Thompson now.
Somebody's ready. One of the balls from the Brewers bullpen just rolled into the infield. How about Kershaw?
Jan Marinez is the bullpen pitcher.
Ball skipped, I guess, on Marcus Hanel, ended up in the infield.
So was that was 6 baseballs Kershaw had in his hand?
I don't know. I was concentrating on that wild pitch from Marinez.
Anderson steps off again. Now wants Lucroy out for a chat. So that's sort of impressive, but Marcus Hanel can, speaking of Marcus Hanel, the bullpen catcher, that's 5 balls. He carried 8.
He and Johnny Bench.
He usually doesn't even need a catcher's mitt down in the bullpen. I feel like that's an injury waiting to happen.
There's 5. There's 5, now 6 in the middle.
He's a 6-ball max. Brewers are going to miss Clayton Kershaw. He will pitch against the Washington Nationals after the Brewers leave on Sunday. 1-1 on Thompson. Anderson needing a double play ball here badly. Thompson fouls it away. Both starters struggling mightily tonight. Bolsinger was chased with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. And his good buddy Chase Anderson is nearing the same fate. Does not have an out here in the 3rd yet.
It's all about fastball command. It looked like Lucroy wanted that one inside. He left it out over the plate, but just a bit low. John just hunting for strikes, something that he feels as though Chase can get over the plate.
2-2 the count, and it's low. 3 balls, 2 strikes now.
Can't get the feel for the changeup. He threw 5 consecutive changeups to Seager.
Anderson had 3 consecutive games that felt just like this. Late April and early May. And ever since that time, he's been good for the Brewers. Tough night tonight. 3-2 on the way and a foul ball. Doesn't have that put-away pitch tonight.
Just doesn't have that location, that confidence in throwing the fastball, especially in on these right-handed batters. And that's what really sets up his changeup.
Got some long at-bats, high pitch counts. Nobody out in the third. 3 runs are in on a 3-run home run by Justin Turner. Came on a 2-strike pitch. And Thompson fouls one off his foot. That dropped him. This is the second game in the big leagues this year where both teams have scored in the first 3 innings. Ouch, right off his shin. Yikes.
Oh, yeah, that's going to feel good.
Yeah, every frame accounted for. Back on June 1st, the Red Sox and the Orioles did it. Last time a National League game occurred when both teams scored in the first 3 innings was August of last year, and it involved the Dodgers and the Pirates. Thompson in the air to left, Braun coming in, and finally Trace Thompson is retired. First out of the inning. Now tonight's game between the Brewers and the Dodgers being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land and ships at sea. We welcome all of you watching in tonight, wherever you are. Hope you're staying safe. Thanks for keeping us safe. A heartfelt thank you for that. And we hope we can entertain you tonight as best we can. If you're a pitcher, then you're cringing at this one thus far.
You like offense? Stick around. We're only in the 3rd inning.
Howie Kendrick at the plate. He homered his last time up.
And as frustrated as Chase Anderson has to be out there on the mound, and his catcher equally as frustrated, just trying to find something that he can get over the plate, get ahead in the count, and gets him out, just searching for strikes. It's a lonely feeling behind home plate. Just doesn't have that command that he's had over his last handful of starts.
Anderson took a no decision his last time out. Gave up 4 runs in 5 innings to the Giants, but most of that damage, or a lot of that damage, was early. Anderson beat the A's 2 starts ago, back on June 8th, and took a no-hitter into the 7th in that game. And another full count. Jan Marinez is ready. Not sure how many batters Anderson has left. Runner takes off on the 3-2. It's down and in. I tell you, I think Adrian Gonzalez forgot how many outs there were. He just kind of started jogging over to second base like you'd do it with 2 outs.
Yeah, full count, 2 outs. You might be right. That's going to be it for Chase Anderson. A rough night at the ballpark for him.
2 1/3. And Jan Marinez is coming in. 5-5 game. And both starters are out. We're only in the 3rd. The Dodgers with 2 on. We'll take a break. Christmas Water and Theme Park is the world's first upside-down wooden roller coaster, the largest coaster in the park. Hades 360 also features a drop of 134 feet, a 90-degree turn underground at a speed of 70 miles per hour. Wisconsin Dells weekend for us on Fox Sports Wisconsin. It is not a night for the starting pitcher tonight. Both out in the third inning. Anderson leaves after 2 1/3, and now it's going to be Jan Marinez trying to clean up the mess.
Yeah, 12th appearance, pretty good numbers, 324 earned run average. Last pitch against the Giants in San Francisco on Wednesday, 2 1/3 scoreless innings. He's got his work cut out for him here tonight. You got to figure he's going to be in there for a few innings. Day game tomorrow here in LA. You don't want to tax your entire bullpen. In a game like this, it's only the third inning.
There have already been 150 combined pitches in this game. And Marinez trying to restore some order. 5-5 game. Turner hit a 3-run homer. Been 3 hits and 2 walks in this inning. Both of the runners belong to Anderson. Not his night tonight. It's going to be his worst start of the year.
Yeah, didn't have anything that he could go to get a strike, a good quality strike.
2 on, 1 away. Marinez needing a ground ball with. There's a shot by Grandal. That's heading for the gap. 1 run is in. Gonzalez. Kendrick is behind him. He'll try to score. Villar's throw to the plate. Not in time. 2 RBI double for Grandal. And the Dodgers now lead 7-5.
That fastball missed his spot. It was supposed to be on the corner, ended up down the middle. Grandal hits it hard. Question was Kendrick going to be able to score from first base? Answer is yes. Pretty decent speed going around third.
And the nightmare inning continues. 5 runs are in for Los Angeles. They lead 7-5. Runner at second. Still just 1 out. Here's Kike Hernandez, 8th batter of the inning. Breaking ball, 0-2 the count. Hernandez got the start in left field last night. Back in left tonight. He's got a different look. Shaved the long locks. Hardly recognized him when I saw him. And down he goes. A strikeout, out number 2.
And maybe getting ready for the hot temperatures here in LA coming up. Long hair can't be very cool on you, can it? The big beard, the long hair.
Not unless you're in the ocean. Chris Hatcher, the reliever, is going to get an at-bat. Came in to get out of the third inning. Had back-to-back strikeouts. And he lines one to center field, a base hit. Another run's going to score. It is a 6-run inning. And it's 8-5 Los Angeles.
Oh, the relief pitcher. My goodness. And that was a bullet into center field. That was Hatcher's first at bat. Look at that. He looks like he knows what he's doing up there.
First career major league hit for Chris Hatcher.
Not that easy.
Save that ball. So back to the top of the order. The man who started all this mess. He had an infield hit, Jock Peterson. Had an exit velocity of 44 miles an hour. Just a little dribbler over toward third base.
Yeah, but nobody over there. And by the time VR got to it, too late. But that was pretty much the last of the cheap hits this inning. Everything's been hit pretty hard, right on the screws.
Dodgers batting around in this third. This is the 10th batter of the inning. 6 runs have scored. And yet the Brewers are only down 3 because they've had a high-powered offensive attack themselves. Ground ball through, base hit. First and third now. The inning that wouldn't end.
Jock Peterson 2 for 2 in the third inning. Greg Counsell's got to wonder what he's got to do to get out of this inning. Fastball, little movement going away from Peterson. He rolls it right back through the middle. This Hatcher looks like he knows what to do on the bases. He turns second and cruises on into third base.
Peterson with the 6th hit of the inning. First and third. Here is Corey Seager now. And a slider in there for a strike. Another one. 0-2 the count.
Well, we got some information on Chris Hatcher. He was a catcher in the minor leagues in the Marlins system. Had 248 hits and 36 home runs. So yeah, I guess he kind of knows what he's doing out there on the at the plate.
Your instincts were correct.
He did look like he knew what he was doing for sure. That's some good stats work back there.
Well, Hatcher is going to try to give Dave Roberts a few innings. Came in relief to finish up the third inning. Got back-to-back Ks.
I would imagine with a short bench, you know, the Dodgers only have 4 guys on the bench. I think Dave Roberts might be thinking about using Hatcher as a pinch hitter after that.
Stolen base for Jock Peterson.
Find any bat you can when you only have 5 guys on your bench. Surprised that's his first at bat this year. Shaking his head. Yeah, you're right. I think I might.
You can see the light bulb right above Dave Roberts' cap.
Yeah.
1-2 the count on Seager. 2 on, second and third. Tried that same breaking ball. Seager is on it this time. Well, there is a Kenny Chesney concert at Miller Park going on right now.
It's got to be over, doesn't it? 11 o'clock? Close?
I don't know. Maybe just finishing up. He goes deep into the night. Have to get our intrepid Kenny Chesney reporters out there to let us know.
Our buddy Tim Shea's there.
Oh yeah, he's there.
I'm not sure he's capable of dialing the phone though.
Full count, 2 men are out. And a strikeout to end it. Thankfully, a half an hour it took to play that half inning. And the nightmare that wouldn't end is finally over. 6 runs in for the Dodgers, 8-5 LA. tied it. And then the Dodgers would add 3 more. They lead 8-5 as we go to the 4th inning already. Now it's time for our CarSoup.com trivia. Who is tied with Ryan Braun for the Brewers franchise lead in career homers at Dodger Stadium?
Good one.
That is a good one. Braun's had a nice career here at Dodger Stadium. Loves hitting here. He has been in demand in his hometown. Started Granada Hills High School. Then he went all the way to the other coast to go to college in Miami. He was on an academic scholarship at Miami. And then he ends up in the Midwest. Rookie of the Year, MVP. Braun due up second. Scooter Gennett will lead off. And if you're the Brewers, you got to fight the instincts, I guess, that all this offense for the Dodgers, but you're still in it.
It's only a 3-run game, right?
3-run game, a lot of baseball to play. Nobody's been getting anybody out. So try to keep that trend going here in the top of the 4th inning. Good breaking ball by Hatcher is in there for a strike. 0-2 on Scooter Gennett. The converted catcher.
And another one. A lot of converted catchers going to the mound. Maybe I should have done that.
Well, you did have a very good arm, big body. You're kind of the prototypical right-hander, you know. 6'4". Gennett into center field, hit well, but right at Peterson, who almost overran it. And there is out number 1.
Yeah, the thing was, though, is I hit pretty well in the minor leagues. I mean, all the outs I made pretty much were in the major leagues, so I guess it would have been a little bit too late at that point.
You were already a lost cause.
I was already a catcher.
You hit well enough coming up to the minor leagues to be in the big leagues.
No, I hit well.
You hit well in the minor leagues, which got you to the big leagues.
Right.
And then
not well enough.
By the time you got to the big leagues, it's too late to.
It caught up with me. Yeah.
Well, you had some injuries too.
I was the anti Justin Turner. See Turner all over the off-speed stuff, the curveballs.
Right.
Big leagues, they're tough to hit. Not for him, though.
He seems to be thriving on off-speed pitches, and he keeps getting a lot of them. On the ground to short, scooped up by the big shortstop. Seager makes a play for out number 2. Did you ever think about playing shortstop?
No. Little league.
I mean, you and Kyle, you and Seager, Corey Seager are the same size. What was your playing weight?
Deceiving.
In your big league days?
About 230.
230, so he's 225. He's 6'4", 225. Was it the same proportioned as what you're looking at now?
Can't tell. He doesn't have a mullet.
That is one stark difference.
That added some weight.
And the puncher's jaw.
Yeah, I can take a punch.
Why do they call you Rock?
Many reasons.
It's too early for that story.
Did you read the book?
Oh, sure, I did read the book. If These Walls Could Talk.
It's in there.
Written by Rock. That's what you should have named it. Now, there's a long name, it's a long title. If These Walls Could Talk, something, something, something. What is that?
No, it's Milwaukee Brewers, and then this is what it's all about.
If These Walls Could Talk, stories from the Milwaukee Brewers dugout, locker room, and blah, 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 blah.
That's not the title. That's a description.
Ah, on the front, on the cover?
Yeah.
It's a busy cover. I would have rather just seen just your face on the cover. Now, why'd you go with that picture on the front?
I didn't. It had nothing to do with the pictures, as I've told you many times.
I mean, you managed to get a lot of pictures on the front and back cover, but yet not one of me in the book, which is wrong, as Lucroy draws the walk.
I did my best. I tried.
Not one. You know, it does make a great Father's Day gift. If These Walls Could Talk, stories from the Milwaukee's Brewers clubhouse.
Get it at the team store.
Press box.
At Miller Park. You know, they've got a luncheon, a book luncheon coming up, the MAC.
I don't recommend you eat the books at all.
June 28th. Come on out and see it. David Stearns is going to be there.
The Brewers general manager.
Brewers general manager, talking baseball. You're going to get a book. We'll sign it. We'll talk baseball there at the MAC on June 28th.
Excellent. Chris Carter takes a strike.
So call the MAC and get signed up.
Have you given David Stearns a copy of the book?
I have.
Well, I hope he's read it.
He asked why his picture's not in.
Prior to the David Stearns era, I bet if he'd have been there 10 years, there'd have been a picture of him. There's a swing and a miss by Carter. 0-2 the count. Is there going to be another book? I think that's what people want to know. Right?
Haven't decided.
It's going to be a sequel.
Haven't decided.
If these walls could talk, part two.
No.
D-E-A-U-X.
Nope. I think we've told all the stories that we can tell.
Oh, I don't think so, my friend. I think there are a lot you're holding back.
That's true.
I think there's a lot of juicy little nuggets in there just waiting to come out. Putting every former Rock teammate on alert.
Oh, no.
Just kidding. Got no stories. It's all fun and games.
Oh, it is. All good.
But really, if the walls could talk, they would. There's a lot of cool stories.
Mm-hmm.
Great Father's Day gift. Did I mention that?
It is.
Father's Day tomorrow, I think.
Make sure you call Paco. Did you send him a card?
No, no card.
Oh, you don't do cards,
I don't do cards. I'm not into the card business. Now,
No?
I do cards for my wife and my daughter. That's it.
Mom?
Mom. Yeah.
Not
Oh
Dad.
yeah. Oh yeah. I do.
Not Dad.
The ladies in my life.
I didn't play anymore, you know.
Paco's not a card guy. He'd prefer a 6-pack of Miller beer. Breaking ball in the dirt. 3-2 to Carter. Happy Father's Day to all of you celebrating the great day. Hope you get exactly what you're looking for.
Just time with the family. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. 3-2 to Chris Carter. Brewers down 3. Runner goes. Carter swings and fouls one away. Lucroy on the move. Now one swing of the bat. The Brewers can jump right in. Carter skies it a mile high. Almost hit the roof here at Dodger Stadium. As Kendrick makes a catch to end the inning. So the Brewers come up empty. The first 0 on the board all night. 8-5 Dodgers.
Series bottom of the fourth. Hey, break out your Proton packs and head to Miller Park for Ghostbusters Day. On Saturday, July 9th, fans who purchase a special ticket package will get a limited edition Brewers Ghostbusters quad bobblehead. Learn more at brewers.com/theme night.
Did you buy your Proton pack yet? Did you go searching on Google?
I have not.
There it is. That's what you're looking for, Rock, if you're going to go out there.
No. Great movie, though.
Terrific movie. That'll be some fun at Miller Park. Justin Turner will lead off for the Dodgers. Turner hit a 3-run homer last inning to tie the game. Brewers led by 3. And then Chase Anderson came out, gave up an infield hit, a walk, and then Turner on a 2-strike pitch hit a changeup into the bleachers and left. Another one into deep left. That's going to stay in the ballpark, though, as Braun is over to make the catch.
Yeah, fastball that time got in on his hands. That's where you got to pitch that guy. You give him something off speed, look out, but pound him inside, and that's what happens. He gets it on the handle. Right there, perfect spot for him, and gets in on his fists and an easy out to left.
There aren't many pitchers who do this anymore, but Jan Marinez is one of them. And it's one of my favorite things to see when a pitcher gives up a high fly ball, he'll point straight up in the air.
Just in case they don't know where it is.
It's up here.
Yeah.
It's very helpful for a broadcaster who may be not paying attention. Not us, of course, but others.
Not much help to the left fielder, though.
One time he did that. He'd given up a home run. It would be a home run. He pointed in the air, and it went out. So just in case, keep your eye on the pitcher. Wait, where is it? Oh, there it is. It's up there. Probably doesn't even know he does it.
Just into it out there. Why not?
I would do that.
Helping everybody out.
I'd be pointing to everything. A ball on the ground, line drive. Call your own check swing like Zach Greinke did the other day.
Right.
And Adrian Beltre. I've never seen that before, and I've seen it twice this year.
Greinke does everything, you know.
He calls
Pitches, hits, umpires. He does everything.
And this is while he was batting. Called for his own check swing. Down the left field line. It's hit well. Slicing. And it is a foul ball. Adrian Gonzalez giving one a ride.
Like the one Lucroy hit in game 1 in this series, it never does disappear behind that foul pole, and did not deflect off the pole.
1-2 the count on Gonzalez. Adrian's been dealing with back problems, neck problems, and been waiting to see the power bat show up. He did have a double his first time up.
Been a while since his last homer. Came close on that one. May 28th.
Yeah, and since he's come back from the back injury, it's been a struggle. 2 hits tonight, though. I saw the Cubs won again tonight. They beat the Pirates 4-3. David Ross, Anthony Rizzo, and Chris Bryant all had home runs in that game. And Lester pitched well as Marinez strikes out Gonzalez for the second out. 2 gone in the 4th.
Right fielder, Trace Thompson.
A long at bat won by Marinez that time. Pitch number 7. Took a little off of it. Good pitch. Look like a change up.
Starting to wonder when we just crowned the Chicago Cubs division champs. Cubs are now 46-20 with their win today. Lester's got 9 of those wins. 11.5 games up on the Cardinals.
Already mid-June.
St. Louis lost today. The Rangers scored 4 runs in the last 2 innings to beat the Cardinals.
Brewers a couple of games out of 3rd place.
They're excited about the way things were going in Chicago on the north and the south side, but the White Sox have fallen on hard times here lately. And a bad month. Made a trade for James Shields. He pitched again today. Struggled again today.
Was it 8 runs?
James Shields gave up 8 runs in an inning and 2/3 today. In his last 4 starts, he's given up the same amount of earned runs as Jake Arrieta has in Arrieta's last 32 starts. There's a called strike 3, and Thompson is out. Inning is over, and a 1-2-3 frame for Marinez. 8-5 Dodgers. We go to the 5th. Brewers are coming up. Round 3, it's 8-5. They've had a lot of offense early in this game. Our AT&T high-speed replay been able to string together some singles, some 2-out hits, and rock the bottom of the order, really getting it done for Milwaukee.
Yeah, 6 through 9. The Brewers are 6 for 8, 3 runs, a couple of RBIs. And they had a stolen base thrown in there. And so the bottom of the order getting it done. Of course, the offense has been pretty good. I mean, you can't lay this one at this point on the offense. They've got 5 runs up, but they're going to need more.
Down 3, a lot of baseball to play. See the number. Starting with Aaron Hill down through the pitcher spot. Chase Anderson did have a single tonight. Hatcher will begin his 3rd inning. Got the last 2 outs of the 3rd, a scoreless 4th. And Hill lines one foul. Shook up old Ed Cedar down there, the Brewers' 3rd base coach. Best profile in baseball right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is.
It's a pretty big back, though, for a single-digit number, I think. There's more back than there is number. He feels like a 2-number kind of guy.
You're thinking it should be 16,
yeah,
something like
56, something like that. A lot of back for a single digit. There's a swing and a miss. And Hill strikes out for the first out of the inning.
That's a good slider from Hatcher. Throws hard, has that good slider to go with it.
Doing nice.
Third strikeout for Hatcher. Now it's Kirk Neuenhuis. Neuenhuis had a base hit earlier. Single to right. That was a part of the string of hits in the third inning. Brewers were sitting pretty in the top of the third. They led 5-2. But then a 6-run Dodger bottom of the third inning. And now Milwaukee trying to play catch up. There's only one other game in progress in the big leagues besides ours. Just down the road in San Diego, the Nationals and the Padres are tied at 1, 7th inning. Everything else is final today from the world of Major League Baseball.
I think VR is over there talking to Marinia as a possible at bat, maybe trying to get him a little few pointers before he goes up there.
And if you were VR, what would you say?
Get up there, swing hard in case you hit it.
VR's always into it. That's what you like about him. No matter the score, pace of the game. Foul ball off of Grandal. And that one shook him up a little bit.
Right on the knee. Yep, right on that that extra pad on the above the knee, and those things hurt. They kind of jar that kneecap, and sometimes you feel like you're never going to be able to move that thing again. But they go away pretty quickly when they hit the knee like that, if that's exactly what it is.
Interesting that he dropped his knee there. You know, as the pitch is coming in, mid-pitch. Would have hit him right in the middle of the shin guard had he kept his leg up, but for whatever reason.
Trying to get low, trying to get down as low as he can, and unusual to do that with 2 strikes. Looked like a breaking ball, and
oh, right on that kneecap.
Yep, Neuenhuis got on top of it and pounded it right off his leg.
He will carry on, however. One away for Neuenhuis, 2-2 the count. A.J. Ellis was ready. He's getting hydrated, just in case. That is a good man right there. The lone Wisconsin resident, A.J. Ellis, of the Major League Baseball players. He's the one.
Last active, huh?
Now that Craig Counsell is officially a manager, not a player anymore. I think AJ will probably catch tomorrow, I would imagine. As AJ put it, as Neuenhuis draws the walk, they always catch the chubby guys when it's hot. Try to get them to lose some weight.
Chubby guys?
Those are his words, not mine.
Right fielder, Ramon Flores.
Well, there is activity in that Brewers bullpen, so I don't think that Mariñez is going to get a chance to swing the bat.
Jacob Barnes getting loose.
It was a good effort anyway by VR. Giving him a few pointers.
You got to be ready just in case. You appreciate the fact that he cares.
Yeah.
Because you know what, Rock? You cannot teach people to care. Ramon Flores trying to keep this inning going here. He has 2 hits. He drove into with a base hit last time up. Two for two RBI single in the third. He stole a base as well in that inning. Flores got a nice vote of confidence from Craig Counsell before the game today. Say he likes everything he's doing. He's just learning how to be a big leaguer right now.
Right. I'm just starting to climb up there. Around 240 at this point. Took a while to get over 200.
Yeah, got off to a very slow start. New team, new organization, trying to impress. He's added first base to his defensive repertoire, which is good because he can play multiple positions. You can even play him at center field. He's not a great center fielder, but you can put him there if you need to.
He's got the speed to do it.
Got a little big league time with the Yankees last year, then was traded to the Mariners. Hit his first career home run against the Mets earlier this season in New York off Jacob deGrom. That's his only big league homer. Not sure Neuenhuis is going to be running.
No, that's what I was going to say. I'm not quite sure why Hatcher's so worried about Neuenhuis. 3-run lead. You're not going to be making outs on the bases down by 3.
One ball, 2 strikes on Flores. On the ground to second. Kendrick fires to second. And the throw to first is in time. A double play. Counsell is stepping out to tell them they want to take a look at it, but none of the umpires are looking at it.
Home plate umpires. Finally, home plate umpires got him. Jordan Baker.
Finally hold everything up, and they'll just have a quick look. Looks like they got him with that angle. Counsell will wait word from his bench coach Pat Murphy. Video team says no thanks. And that'll do it for the inning. A double play ends it. 2 scoreless innings for Hatcher. Los Angeles coming up. And a reminder, Brewers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. Jacob Barnes, promising rookie pitcher on the mound for the Brewers.
Yeah, last pitched on Wednesday against the Giants, a scoreless inning. A couple of hits, a couple of strikeouts. He's got electric stuff.
Another guy just getting his feet wet in the big leagues, trying to figure it all out as fast as he can. First appearance at Dodger Stadium of his career. Pitched on Wednesday in San Francisco. His debut came June 3rd against Philadelphia. And his first 2 games in the big leagues were about as impressive as you can do it. I'm sure the adrenaline was pumping, but Jacob Barnes showed closer type stuff. He's got a nasty slider.
8 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings. Mid-90s fastball, that very late breaking slider. It's a good one.
Barnes was putting together a great season in AAA, pitching out of the bullpen there at an ERA of 1.21, and it's a legitimate earned run average too, because he mostly pitched complete innings. So not necessarily the inherited runner story, but his innings were his innings. Bouncing ball to VR, got a long throw. Kendrick is out number 1. Well, Vin Scully in his last year as a broadcaster, and it's our last trip here to see Mr. Scully. We had a chance to visit with him, and here are some of his thoughts.
In 1953, Milwaukee and the county and the state, for that matter, they were madly in love with the Braves, absolutely. But it made it very difficult for a broadcaster. And I can remember vividly, they were so in love with their Braves that if the opposition hit a home run and you'd start, there's a long fly, and there'd be total silence in the ballpark. And then when the Braves would come up, there'd be a pop fly to the infield, and the crowd would go crazy because they'd look at it with their hearts instead of with their eyes. So I always remember those early days, the absolute love affair between the fans and their team. It was great to watch, but difficult to broadcast.
Great stories from Vin Scully. We certainly appreciate him spending some time with us yesterday, and that love affair still exists in Milwaukee, right?
Yes, it does.
And the love affair with that man is as strong as it ever was. And I highly recommend, if you want to do some Vin Scully reading, Tom Verducci wrote the best piece in Sports Illustrated that I have read to date on Vin Scully. And it's a masterpiece in its own right. The subject is a masterpiece. And the great Vin Scully, 67 years as the Dodger broadcaster. And it's coming to an end. It's going to be sad. We're not going to see him anymore, you know?
Yeah.
There's a walk to Grandal with 1 away.
He has really added a lot to the game of baseball over his 67 years. And, not a more gracious individual you'll ever meet. I mean, humble. He never wants to talk about himself. It's never been about Vin Scully, and that's what makes him so great. And that's why baseball is going to miss him so much. This is his final season, and we wish him well.
Yeah, he was there. 1955, the Brooklyn Dodgers. He started his career in '47. Amazing. He knew Red Barber, the great Red Barber.
Tells a story about one day in the off season, going ice skating with Jackie Robinson.
That's right.
I mean, honestly, I mean, who has a story like that? I mean, you talk to him about players and how this guy compares to that, and the names that he comes up with is just mind-boggling.
Inducted into the Broadcaster's Wing, the Ford Frick Award winner in the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1982. He called the famous Hank Aaron home run. That was against the Dodgers, remember? Al Downing. And it's always been fun to come here to Dodger Stadium whenever Vin is around. When you see something special, you could always go over to the booth and ask him, what did that remind you of? And I remember last year, maybe 2 years ago, Yasiel Puig threw out Aramis Ramirez at second base. He threw him out from the wall. And the inning ended, and I ran over there. I go, Vin, what did that throw remind you of? And he goes, oh, well, maybe Carl Furillo. That's a drive into left, way back. Braun in front of the wall has got it for the out. And a long, loud out from Kike Hernandez.
And he's called 20 no-hitters. 3 perfect games, World Series games, and not much he has not done. And he's made every one of those moments even greater with his voice attached to it.
He's 88 years of age. Voice is still velvet. And the greatest poet our game has ever had.
And still works alone.
Yeah. By himself. Might be one of the greatest calls of a World Series moment. Well, 2 of them really. The Mookie Wilson, Bill Buckner ground ball behind the bag.
Right.
And then of course the Kirk Gibson home run. Right here at Dodger Stadium against Dennis Eckersley in the '88 World Series. And the whole setup to that. Knowing that Gibson was down in the clubhouse. And matter of fact, Kirk Gibson said later that he was inspired to go hit because Vin Scully was basically saying he wasn't available.
Right.
He was watching the broadcast. In the air to left, right to Braun, and that will end the inning. So Barnes survived, puts up a 0 in his Dodger Stadium debut. Might get another one out of it. We'll see. 8-5 Dodgers.
This is a fan favorite. Dodger fans, put your
on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Santa Monica Pier on a Saturday night. Things are moving fast out there tonight, Rock. He's got some changes to report. Will Venable is the new right fielder. And that moves Trace Thompson over to left. Hernandez is out. And the reason for all of that, a double switch with Casey Fiend on the mound for Los Angeles.
Yeah, the Brewers hit him up pretty good on Thursday night. You know, Fiend 3 runs on 3 hits, a couple of homers. And the Brewers are hoping that continues here tonight. 24th appearance, and you can see his earned run average. That appearance on Thursday didn't help. Look at him getting himself fired up, talking to himself. Earned run average near 6.
It'll be Alex Presley to start it for the Brewers. Brewers down 3. Had a 5-2 lead before the Dodgers scored 6 times in the 3rd inning. And a beach ball has gotten loose. That never gets old.
You know, the beach ball here at Dodger Stadium is very similar to the Seagulls in San Francisco.
Kind of works.
You get to about 9:30, 10 o'clock, the beach balls start hitting the field. You ever notice that?
Well, they're hungry. Alex Presley, pinch hitting role. Feeing the former Twin. And misses on the outside. First year with the Dodgers for Fiend. Traded here. This is only his 10th game with Los Angeles. They're trying to bolster up their bullpen. Twins took him off the roster. Dodgers picked him up on waivers. Or off waivers, I suppose. It's always a little period there when you take a player off the major league roster, then they're officially on what they call waivers, and then other teams can claim him, try to make a trade or what have you. A lot of times if you clear waivers, then you either be outright released or maybe you'll just be sent down to the minor leagues. And it's the player's choice at that point.
Yeah. You got to decide where you feel like you best have an opportunity to get back to the major leagues with the team that took you off the roster or somebody else.
Well, he's been released twice. He's been left off a major league roster, and yet here he is still pitching in the big leagues, still believing at 32 years of age. Presley's playing time has diminished significantly since Braun returned.
And there was a point he was getting a lot of playing time and hitting pretty well. I mean, early in the season, coming off the bench, he was Craig Counsell's best pinch hitter.
Had a home run off the bench. He's hit 3 this year.
But lack of playing time and, you know, that lack of continuity getting at bats hurts after a while.
Presley hanging tough. Still a lot of time in this game. The Brewers feel like they can fight their way back, certainly.
No doubt. You know, middle relief for the Dodgers in the game. Hey, Hatcher did a heck of a job.
He ends up going 2 1/3 scoreless. Taking over for the starter Bolsinger in the 3rd inning. Bridge the gap. Now Fiend. On the ground, Gonzalez gets a big hop, hits the pitcher covering for out number 1. Let's go back to our Carsub.com trivia. Has to do with Ryan Braun tonight, who is tied with Ryan Braun for the Brewers franchise lead in career homers at Dodger Stadium. That would be Jeff Jenkins. Makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to guess Jenkins, but They don't like it when I guess. They get mad at me down there in the truck.
Yeah, but it's a wide discrepancy though, right? Braun with those 6 homers and 18 RBIs. Jenkins had 6 homers, tied with Braun, had 11 RBIs. They don't mind when you guess wrong.
They love it when I'm wrong.
That's just the risk they'll have to take.
Get real quiet when I guess right. Which doesn't happen all that often.
Saw Jeff Jenkins recently. Came to Miller Park. He was in the booth. He's doing well, living in Scottsdale, Arizona. We usually see him often at spring training. Comes out every now and then. Good guy, Jeff Jenkins.
Yep.
And he had his World Series moment, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
2008 for the Phillies.
Got a ring.
Ground ball through, a base hit for VR. And the Brewers finally get another hit. They have not had a base hit since the 3rd inning. VR's 2 for 4 tonight.
Second baseman number 2, Scooter Gennett.
Yeah, first hit off the bullpen. Yeah, for the Dodgers. Looked like a slider that stayed middle in and able to roll it in a hole between Kendrick and Gonzalez.
It's always been a pretty fast infield, huh? Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Balls is ripping through the infield like AstroTurf.
They do a pretty good job here at Dodger Stadium to keep the infield as soft as they can, but it gets beat down with the sun. That's what makes it so hard. Plus the grass is cut very short.
Rolling about 10 on the stent meter.
Yeah.
Infield grass here at Dodger Stadium. It's perfect. It's the most beautiful playing surface because of mostly the conditions, but they do a great job. And you can always tell if the ball is going to fly or not. A.J. Ellis was giving us some tips. When the sun sets, as Gennett lines one to second base from the seat of his pants, Kendrick doubles up VR and the inning is over. Gennett hit it like a bullet. Nothing to show for it. And for the 2nd time tonight, a line drive out turned into a double play. Go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Carlos Torres is on the pitch. How about a minor league update, Rock? Would you like that?
Yeah, I would.
Check this out.
Walk-off salami.
Yes, Colorado Springs Sky Sox beating Omaha. Will Middlebrooks down a run. It's a grand slam to walk it off for Colorado Springs. That looks like fun. I believe that's Willie Peralta right there on the right in the jacket. Just a guess.
Yeah, looks like him.
Carlos Torres is on the pitch for the Brewers as we go to the Dodger half of the 6th inning.
Yeah, 351 the earned run average for Carlos in his 30th game here tonight. Pitched on Tuesday against the Giants. He stranded a couple of inherited base runners and 2 innings of work.
Well, the Brewers get an inning out of Barnes. Scoreless inning. Jan Marinez came on. Pitched an inning and 2/3 with 1 run allowed. The starter, Chase Anderson, had his worst start of the season tonight. Chase lasting just 2 1/3.
That just really didn't have anything working for him tonight. I mean, right from the beginning.
7 earned runs for Anderson. His ERA shoots up to 5.13. So Torres is the 4th pitcher used, 3rd reliever.
Good job by Jacob Barnes.
Jock Peterson in the leadoff spot tonight. For the first time all years, responded with 2 hits. 2 out of 3. Good move by Dave Roberts. Sometimes you just change a guy in the batting order just to shake it up a little bit, hoping it'll get a response. No Chase Utley in the lineup tonight, so it's Peterson who hits leadoff.
No, it has. And Howie Kendrick has had a pretty good game as well. No Utley, you get a different leadoff hitter. He's got a couple of hits. Howie Kendrick playing second.
Peterson sends one deep to right center, way back, and goodbye. That's what he can do. Great power. A solo homer to start the 6th inning, and the Dodgers are up 9-5. Peterson's 12th of the year, and his 3rd hit.
He just golfs that one out of here. A curveball that stayed middle. Big power. 3rd hit. And he knew it. You know, home run hitters, when they get him, they know it right away. And he knew he hit that one way back in right center.
Corey Seager now.
Dodgers pretty good off-speed team. I mean, really. I mean, curveballs particularly.
I'm thinking they might need a new game plan against them. They've done some damage on off-speed pitches in the series.
Except for Zach Davies. That changeup gave him some problems, but you know, the curveballs and Turner's done well against the curveball in this series, and now Jock Peterson hits one out. Of course, the locations haven't been very good, but still in all.
Grooming down a Callis.
Jimmy Nelson.
And a ground ball fair down the line with the shift on. Seager on his way to second. The throw comes in too high, and it's going to be a double. Seager is on his 1st hit of the night.
It's all going well for the Dodgers right now. Everything they hit seems to find a hole. Well, you play the shift, you really can't figure on a hit like that. Kind of tomahawks it and just rolls it down that left field line for a 2-base hit.
Now bring up Justin Turner. He's knocked the logo off his helmet. Just an eye now. So hot the logo melted off.
Wonder how that happens.
Runner at second. Turner takes a strike. Fastball. 1-1 to count. Question is, do you think they'll get it fixed by the next time he bats?
It'll be fixed tomorrow, I think.
Don't mess with a game helmet. Is that how that works?
Leave it alone. Don't let him know you're doing anything. He won't realize it.
There's some hits in it, apparently. There's another hit. Turner with a single. They'll hold the runner around third. And 3 straight hits to start this inning off Carlos Torres.
What do you think what that pitch was? Take a guess. Slider.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
And he hammers it. Breaking balls beware with that guy at the plate. He hasn't missed any of them in this series.
Well, the Dodgers are at it again. In their 6-run third inning, the same 3 hitters reach base, and then Turner hit the 3-run homer. And a homer by Peterson. 3 straight hits to start the frame, and now Adrian Gonzalez bats with nobody out, first and third. And the Dodgers are looking for a knockout punch here in the 6th inning. With runners in scoring position tonight, both teams are thriving. Dodgers are 5 for 7, 7 runs batted in. But they both have a ways to go before either gets to what Kansas City did tonight, Rock. That ball's hit hard to center, going to drop, base hit. And a throw to second is late. Would have been a force there, but a run scores. 4 consecutive hits for LA. It is 10-5 Dodgers, and first and second with nobody out.
Yeah, it looked like a cutter that didn't do a whole lot. And middle in up. I tell you, Turner almost got thrown out at second base. I don't think Gonzalez would have appreciated that too much, but able to get in there, barely. So the hits for Peterson, a curveball, Turner a slider, Gonzalez a cutter. I'm not sure what Seager had. I think it was a fastball. These guys pretty good with off-speed stuff.
Now Trace Thompson batting for the 4th time. He drove in a run with a single in the 1st inning. 2-out RBI. Anyway, back to that Kansas City game. So you talk about runners in scoring position. The Royals tonight, in a beatdown of the Tigers, were 13 for 25 with runners in scoring position.
Wow.
25 at-bats with at least a runner at second base. And they had 13 hits.
Hitting over 500 with runners in scoring position. That's not bad.
Man, 16-5 was the final.
I mean, that's pretty good when you're 3 for 6.
It's a pretty good week.
13 for 25.
Kansas City is now 6 games over 500. Tigers are back to an even 500. Braves beat the Mets tonight, and they got bad news in New York. Steven Matz and Jim Henderson left with arm injuries.
Oh. Henderson came out of a game in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yeah, with a split fingernail.
Yeah, didn't go on the DL, but and he was throwing the ball pretty well. Matz was throwing the ball very well. One of their best starters among some very good starters in New York.
Frustrating night for those two. Trying to figure out how to get to the finish line in this game. 2 runs are in, nobody out in the 6th inning. 4 straight hits and a wave and a miss. A strikeout for Torres. Out number 1. Here comes Howard Kendrick, the former Angel. think the Angels might have the biggest story of the night in baseball. The return of Tim Lincecum to the big leagues. Got a win. Pitched 6 innings, 1 run to beat the A's today.
Angels need to get going too.
Ground ball to second. Chance to turn it. 4 to 6 to 3. Routine double play, and the inning is over. But the Dodgers score 2 more runs. It's 10-5 now as we go to the 7th.
The Dodgers with a 5-run lead, and next Saturday the Brewers will host their annual Negro Leagues tribute game at Miller Park and pay tribute to the historic Negro Leagues as they wear the vintage Milwaukee Bears uniforms for the matchup with the Nationals. For tickets and details, go to Brewers.com today.
Always a great day at Miller Park. Great tribute. The old Milwaukee Bears uniforms.
Great uniform too, that Bears uniform.
Ryan Braun will step in for the Brewers. Down 5 now after the Dodgers just scored twice in the bottom of the 6th inning. Brewers had a 5-2 lead in this game, believe it or not. Dodgers have scored 8 unanswered runs, including a 6-run third. Somehow trying to fight their way back as Braun sends one deep to right field. Going back and looking up is Venable. Goodbye. A home run for Braun. Number 7 in his career at Dodger Stadium. It's the 12th of the season for Braun. An opposite field smash out of here. And it's now 10-6 Dodgers.
Yeah, doing what he does best, taking it to right field. He's got a lot of home runs in that direction. Left center around to the right field line, and ball just jumping off his bat. Fastball away. Just a nice easy swing, and I think Braun thought maybe he had a shot at it. Did he tug at the jersey? I didn't see it. He wasn't sure, and it just falls about 3 rows back.
Here's Lucroy now, and a strike to Jonathan. Fans are imploring these folks to throw the ball back, but she's got a Brewer hat on. She's not throwing that ball back. Good for you, ma'am, with your blue drink. Lucroy, a little cue shot to second for the first out. Yeah, keeping this ball
all by herself over there. The only Brewer fan around in that section. She doesn't care.
Way to stand up strong.
Yell all you want.
Here's Chris Carter now with 1 out. Brewers down 4 after the Braun homer. Brewers have 11 hits tonight. Chris Carter is the only Brewer in the lineup without one. As far as the starters go, even the pitcher Chase Anderson had a hit. Carter did walk and score in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 2. And a strike. No balls, 2 strikes a count. Got Aaron Hill due up next. Braun homers to make it a 4-run game. And Carter whistles one to right. Venable is there. And it's the 2nd out. Boy, he hit that hard. Nothing to show for it, though. 2 outs in the inning. Carter still at the top of the Brewers home run leaderboard, courtesy of Powerball. With 18, Braun just hit number 12.
We need a couple of base runners and a couple of homers here. And 4 runs, not insurmountable. Not the way this game's going.
Aaron Hill tonight has 2 hits. He's 2 for 3. Got a single and a run scored in the 3rd. Into center. Peterson playing very deep, and he'll run it down to make the catch to end the inning. Well, the inning starts with a Ryan Braun homer. The Brewers trying to chip away. They get a solo shot from Braun, number 12 on the year, makes it a 4-run game. Dodgers coming up, stretch time in Los Angeles. Way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do, it says here. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason on FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself. That's weeknights at 5 p.m. Central. Here's Yasmani Grandal for the Dodgers. The Brewers down 4. And Grandal on the first pitch into center field. Neuenhuis coming in. 1 pitch and 1 out for Torres. After giving up a couple in the 6th inning, he settled down. He got a strikeout and a double play ball.
In the first 4 reads, home run, double, couple singles. It's been often that Carlos Torres has struggled out there in the mound. He's been very good in middle relief. Actually has a couple of saves.
Scott Van Slyke. And he swings at the first pitch. A high drive to right. And it's going to be caught by Flores at the wall. 2 pitches, 2 outs. That one sending Flores all the way back to the fence.
Right fielder number 25, Will Venable.
Ready to pounce.
Yeah, that cut fastball, and that was kind of an interesting swing by Van Slyke. Little, kind of a half swing, maybe really not putting his body into it, but able to take it to the wall out there and right. Okay, might have got fooled a little bit, but still taking Flores back to the fence.
2 outs now. Here's Venable. Takes a strike. Venable just arriving here to Los Angeles. He swings at the second pitch and fouls it away. It's only his 4th game here.
Got things started last night for the Dodgers in extra innings with a leadoff double. Ended up scoring the winning run.
Made his Dodger debut on Tuesday. Had a pinch hit appearance in Arizona. Was released by the Phillies. He was in AAA with the Phillies. Eight years with the Padres and the Rangers. Ground ball to Jeanette. He'll backhand it, and a nice quick inning for Carlos Torres. Dodgers are done in the 7th. We're on our way to the 8th inning. It's 10-6. Dodgers. Anniversary for the Los Angeles Dodgers, a Dodger Stadium classic. Clayton Kershaw on this day 2 years ago tossed his first career no-hitter in a win over the Rockies. Kershaw allowed just 1 base runner who reached on an error, had 15 strikeouts. It might be one of the greatest performances on the mound in the regular season in the history of the game. No hits and 15 Ks. It's the most ever by a pitcher in Major League history that did not allow a runner to reach base via a hit, a walk, or a hit by pitch. On this date, 2014, Clayton Kershaw, the great Dodger left-hander.
Yeah, he stacks up amongst the best that have ever pitched, if you think about it. I mean, when you look at his numbers, he's got a ways to go to really start matching some of those guys. But Adam Liberatore, his 2nd appearance in the series, 30 games, including tonight. Look at the numbers, an earned run average under 1.
Kirk Neuenhuis will lead off.
I mean, is there a pitcher in the game that you would rather have in a big game than Clayton Kershaw?
I would not. And not only is he a great pitcher, he's a great person. He does a lot of terrific work in the community, and some of his charitable endeavors, his humanitarian work. He and his wife are strong in that category too. Had a chance to talk to Clayton before the game today, and he had a lot of fun in Wisconsin last year at a Packer game. He went to Lambeau. It's always something he'd wanted to do. He's a big Cowboys fan, so he wanted to see the Cowboys play the Packers, but loved the Lambeau experience, and we were talking about how great that is. And he's a humble superstar as best you can. You know, today he was out. He must have spent 30 minutes just walking around the groups that the Dodgers business operations bring onto the field, various sponsors and different families and children who have gone through some hard times, and he just took his time, really got to know the people, talked to them, took pictures. Very graceful in that regard. He's doing how he strikes out.
And those are the guys that you don't mind spending big money on to keep around. I mean, it's one thing to have a guy that is productive, he hits the big home runs, if he's a pitcher, he's a guy that you want out there in the mound, but the guys that, you know, relate to the fans and the community where they play, that's a big deal. And that's not as big a deal to some of these players these days as it used to be, and it should be.
At the plate presented by Wendy's for Ramon Flores tonight. Now, there were a number of kids who were on the field today that the Dodgers were hosting that have gone through some tragic circumstances. And when Clayton was done and he came back over to where we were, I asked him, I said, you know, you're the one guy that most people request for visits like that. And so he's doing this just about every day except the day he pitches. And, you know, I asked him if that's difficult to hear these stories every day. And he goes, you know, it's not. It's great. And a lot of times we don't talk about the tragedy. They're here as a getaway, and we get to just talk about baseball. And, but he has had those occasions when he's maintained some friendships and helped, especially kids, helped them through difficult times. And well, what a great platform he has to help people out. Just his presence and him spending a few minutes with a family or a child who's gone through a hard time means a lot, and he knows that. He understands that.
Yeah, I played with a guy that dealt with a lot of that. He was a member of the Angels, Jim Abbott.
Oh yeah, sure.
He every day it seemed like home and road. There were different people wanted to go see him, and kids that had problems, and just gave him words of inspiration, inspired him a little bit, and that was expected of him, and he really enjoyed doing that. He really did.
Abbott, he was the pitcher born without a right hand.
Right.
And one of the more incredible stories to make it to the big leagues, and how he switched the glove from hand to hand after he delivered a pitch. He had a nice career in the major leagues.
I caught him for a couple of years. I actually caught his first major league game. You know, and the word you know, that we heard coming into his first game, actually played the Seattle Mariners, and the concern was that the Mariners were going to bunt on him the whole time to test him. They did, and he was able to make the plays.
Play.
Yeah, they stopped doing that.
I saw him pitch in college. Same thing. He was pitching for Michigan, and I saw him. I was a kid, and I saw him in person at the University of Texas, and they tried the same thing, and he made every play.
Yeah,
and made it look easy.
Fielded his position nicely.
That switch of that glove, he had it down. It was just
and again, an incredible human being, Jim Abbott.
Little half swing, Flores goes. And back-to-back strikeouts here for Liberatore.
And certainly not trying to take anything away from Kershaw, but I mean, you get the connection.
Yeah.
Guys that, you know, embrace the responsibilities that they have. And yeah, it's to the community and to people that need some words of encouragement. That's what Major League Baseball, Major League Sports is all about.
Here's Keon Broxton now with 2 away. I think the most oft asked question of Vin Scully has to do with Kershaw, because Scully saw Sandy Koufax in his prime, and the way Clayton Kershaw is pitching right now. I mean, he's putting together a stretch at this moment of his career where it might be one of the great stretches ever if he continues this. I mean, he's in a window now, having won a Cy Young, having won an MVP, no hitters. He's in the conversation for greatest left-handed pitchers ever. Now he still probably has to stack up a few more years, but if you take the best 6-year window for Sandy Koufax, the numbers, and then look at Clayton Kershaw's 6-year window, and you understand why the comparisons are out there.
Right. I'd like to see what the innings totals would be between the two of them.
That's the difference. And I asked Vin Scully, I asked him about what he thinks, and he goes, you know, you can't compare them because in that era of Koufax, he pitched every 4 days. There was a lot more emphasis on finishing games. It was just a different kind of philosophy for starting pitchers that game. Now, that said, bullpens weren't as good. That can affect wins sometimes. Lineups weren't certainly as deep. You didn't have a lot of changes. But on the other side, Sandy Koufax had to face hitters 3, 4, 5 times and do that a lot more often. There were a lot fewer teams. So you can make arguments either way, but Vin Scully says I'll not be deciding that one because they're both great in their era, and that they are. 3 strikeouts for Liberatore in the 8th. Brewers go down quietly. The Los Rios Indoor Water Park is 80,000 square feet of fun. You can drift around in the Mayan ruins, in the rapid lazy river, or play with the kids in the huge interactive kiddie play areas and the Lava Lagoon activity pool. No matter what the temperature is outside, Chula Vista has you covered. 10-6, Dodgers lead the Brewers. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jock Peterson will lead off. And the new pitcher for Milwaukee is Corey Knebel. A couple of innings for Carlos Torres, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits.
He's had a couple of rough outings, has Corey. Last pitched against the Giants on Tuesday and gave up a run. It did not retire a batter. A couple of walks, a hit, and an earned run.
Peterson's had the hot bat tonight. He has homered. He has 3 hits. Scored twice. He's stolen a base. First Dodger leadoff man with a home run and a stolen base in the same game since April of last season when Jimmy Rollins did it against the Padres. That was opening day last year. And Rollins' first game as a Dodger. This could be a big game for Corey Knebel to get right once again. He's had his troubles. He came out throwing the ball very well. You figure adrenaline was a big part of that. Now he's kind of settled in, coming back from an oblique injury. Brewers have Michael Blazek on the comeback trail. He's supposed to be joining the ball club soon. Chris Capuano had a little bit of a setback. He's actually heading back to Milwaukee to be examined by the doctor, which is not good.
They need to check him out, and had a side session, still was feeling some discomfort, then they shut him down, and it's going to be a little bit longer for Capuano.
Capuano hoping to get a good report from the doctor, but a guy who's had 2 Tommy John procedures. Peterson in the air, center field, and Neuenhuis is there to make the catch. One away.
Hey, this summer every Friday is a free shirt Friday. All fans at Miller Park. This coming Friday, June 24th, the Brewers and the Nationals will get a camo ball and glove t-shirt courtesy of Hubie and Abraham. Reserve your spot today at Brewers.com. The Washington Nationals coming into town.
Yeah, Nationals are coming here next to play the Dodgers. Corey Seager takes a strike from Knebel. Nationals lead the division in the East. They've got a 6-game lead over the Mets. There's a line drive, and that's down for a hit. Seager with 2 hits. Hits are coming easy tonight, folks. Dodgers have 14 of them.
Third baseman, number 10, Justin.
And Seager centering on that Knebel fastball that's fairly straight. Outer half and gets on top of the fastball in the mid-90s. You know, the velocity really not back yet for Knebel. You figure that's going to happen as he settles in and gets more comfortable out there, gets his rhythm. He'd normally be up there at about 96, 97. He's really not touching 95 quite yet.
Here's Justin Turner. Turner had the big blow in this game once again. He was the star last night. Drove in all 3 Dodger runs, including a game-tying homer in the 8th and then a walk-off in the 10th. And with the Brewers up 3 in the 3rd, Turner hit a 3-run home run off Chase Anderson to tie it. And the Dodgers have not looked back. Scored 6 in that inning, 6-run 3rd. Added 2 more in the 6th, and they lead 10-6.
And Knebel all of a sudden has found a little bit of a fastball. That 95, a couple of back-to-back fastballs for him. And the helmet is fixed.
You noticed that?
I did.
The LA is back on Turner's helmet. It's been repaired. There's not a lot in the big leagues that'll slip by an equipment manager.
Nice new decal, and I don't think Turner was too concerned about it, but I think the equipment manager wants to make everybody look the same and look good.
It's all about the brand, Rock. Last time he was up, it had just a little sliver of the L. The other parts had fallen off. You like the new helmets, the matte helmets?
I think they're nice, yeah.
I like those too.
I know that they give a little bit more protection
versus the shiny helmets.
Whatever the color, I mean, these new helmets they've been using for a couple of years. A little more protection if they get hit in the head. New design.
The matte finish on the new helmets. I've seen these around, like some teams, the entire team has to be uniform. So. Yeah. A lot of teams. Brewers don't have them. They have the shiny ones. I'll have to get a Jason Schauger update on why that is.
Yeah. It's the style now. Now, Vin Scully could tell you stories about when they didn't even wear helmets.
Didn't bother. Didn't have helmets. Used to share gloves.
Throw the glove out on the field in between innings.
One team to the other. One shortstop would flip his glove out to the other. They just leave the gloves out there. I never knew that until I watched Ken Burns' documentary, Baseball. There's a shiny helmet. That's a really shiny helmet on Carlos Subero's head. Sort of shiny. Double ear flaps. Full count, one away. Got a runner at first. Has not been a night for the pitcher tonight. Brewers and Dodgers will do it again tomorrow, the finale of the series, a day game tomorrow here from LA on Father's Day. Runner goes, Turner fouls it away.
And just a little bit behind that fastball all night. And all fastballs from Knebel to Turner here.
It's our Miller Lite What's on Tap tomorrow. 2:30 is airtime. Kenta Maeda is on the mound. He got hit by a line drive on the shin his last time out. Some question whether he'd even make this start, but he's up. Matt Garza will make his second start since coming back from the disabled list. A lat injury, his second start of the season. Might require some bullpen work tomorrow with Garza on the mound too. He's still not quite ramped up where he can go deep in a game.
He pitched pretty well against the Giants, but he left a ton of guys on base, 8 altogether in 4 scoreless innings. That was Garza.
Runner goes again, fly ball to right. And Flores will make the catch. Turner finally retired. 2 outs in the inning. Seager back to first.
Baseman number 23, Adrian.
And here comes Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, that was a 9-pitch at bat that time, won by Knebel and fastball.
Gonzalez has had a good night tonight. 3 hits, 3 for 4. Scored a run. He had a double in the first. Drove in a run in the 6th inning. The smooth swing of Adrian Gonzalez. There was a time when he was one of the most feared left-handed hitters in the game. His days in San Diego, and they did all the numbers, and they figured, well, where he hits the ball in San Diego, left center mostly, which is most of his power, he was going to tear up Fenway Park. But that trade never really worked like the Red Sox hoped it would.
Big home run numbers too. I mean, even last year, 28 home runs. He had a 40 home run season in San Diego. Yeah, home run numbers down for him, but I think he's going to heat up a little bit.
Made an all-star team last year. 2 years ago, led the big leagues in RBIs. Drove in 116. There's a strike.
Good place to pitch him right there. Right now it seems like he wants to shoot the ball up the middle into left center. Didn't like that call.
Gonzalez is 4 home runs away from 300 in his career. He's got over 1,000 RBIs. 7 different seasons he's driven in over 100. Had 99 one year as well. 2-2 to Gonzalez. And a called strike 3. Down he goes. The inning is over. And the Brewers get their last call here in the ninth. 10-6 Dodgers. Brewers coming to bat. Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Lights are up. Last call for the Brewers, 9th inning. And down 4 runs. Brewers have 11 hits in this game, 6 runs on 11 hits. But the Dodgers with 10 runs on 14 hits. Brewers let a 3-run lead get away early. They've blown 3 3-run leads in this series. Liberatore back on the mound, trying to finish it off for LA. VR has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 4. He drove in a run in the second. In the air, foul territory. That's going to slice into the seats. One more game tomorrow. The Brewers will then head back to the Bay Area. A team off day Monday. And then Tuesday starts a 2-game series with the Oakland Athletics.
And night game, day game, then back to Milwaukee.
You got Jimmy Nelson in the night game on Tuesday, and then Junior Guerra will pitch the day game Wednesday. And finally back home. Has not been a pretty road trip thus far. The Brewers were sitting pretty last night in the 8th. After being swept by the Giants, Brewers had a chance to win back-to-back games. Now, with 3 more outs, the Brewers in danger of dropping 5 out of 6. Or 4 out of 5, I should say, on this road trip. Got 2 in Oakland. And then the Nationals, Dodgers are coming in.
And then the Cardinals, so a rough stretch for the Brewers.
VR in the air to right. And Venable is there for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, schedule going into the All-Star break. No pushover, is it? Got some rough teams coming in, some good teams coming in.
Here's Scooter Gennett now. Had a base hit. Drove in a run in the second. He walked and scored in the first inning. Scooter Gennett's walk ratio has improved significantly. He earned a walk every 32.5 plate appearances last year. This year, he's drawing a walk every 10.5 plate appearances. Plate discipline improving. That's important.
Yeah, for the whole team. I mean, it's been a much different ball club. They don't swing so much out of the strike zone. More patient at the plate.
One man out, 1-1 count on Gennett. That's in there for a strike. Last game in progress. Do you see the Padres had a nice comeback tonight? They won that game 7-3. It was 3-1 at one point.
Right.
San Diego had a comeback in the 8th to win it. Surprising. A little roll over to second. Kendrick is there and out number 2. Brewers down to their last out. And it'll be Ryan Braun who homered his last time up.
Ryan Braun.
He ripped one down the right field line. His 7th Dodger Stadium home run in his career. He says this is his favorite road venue. His home run ended up with that nice lady and all that Brewer gear. Everybody was all over to throw the ball back. She said, "No way, that's my guy."
At least he still has it.
Tucked away in the purse. Braun's so good he hits home runs just to Brewers fans on the road. It's amazing that way.
Yeah.
Ryan 1 for 4 tonight. Batting average at .313. He's been riding a high OPS all year. It's at .910 now. Great year for Braun.
Yeah.
Got 12 homers.
It shows you when he's healthy, he's still one of the best hitters in the game. And he's feeling pretty good right now.
1-2 the count. Brewers down to their last strike. Liberatore trying to finish it off. $44,000 plus tonight at Dodger Stadium. Day game tomorrow, supposed to be hot. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 90s in LA tomorrow. Most of the crowd is ahead of the traffic. And Braun fouls it away. Got a piece of Grandal back there.
Second time tonight. He's been down like that. Another knee shot. Well, he already had one in the knee, and there's another one. Same knee.
Yeah, same spot. He dropped the knee down in the exact same manner last time.
Maybe you should think twice about doing that. much when you're winning. And the knee goes down to the ground, and bingo.
Well, he's going to tough it out, try to finish it off. Braun says, sorry, bro. I'm trying.
Better you than me.
You're the one who chose to be a catcher. The tools of brilliance.
Yeah.
2-2 on the way. And Braun strikes out. Ball game over. And the Dodgers win 10-6. Brewers let a 3-run lead get away early, and one to forget about here tonight, partner.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot went right for Chase Anderson and the rest of the pitching staff. And Dodgers really turned it on. They've been swinging at some breaking balls, knocking them out of the ballpark, and it's been a pretty impressive series. Last 2 games for the Dodgers, able to come back both games and take both.
That'll do it for us tonight. We're back at it tomorrow afternoon. Brewers-Dodgers will wrap up this 4-game series. Thanks to our guys in the booth, John Q. Reynolds and Aaron Charlton on stats. In the truck, Dan Keener, our producer, Mark Vittorio, director, Dave Trout, graphics. For Bill Schroeder, this is Brian Anderson saying so long from Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers win tonight. Brewers will have to win tomorrow to earn a split in this 4-game series. We'll see you then on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Good night, everybody.